actually.
Is
Here,
it?
you need a new embed.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I can blame Andrew. That's great.
The technical difficulties floor. This should be called the technicalities floor because it's just technical difficulties.
Is that better, guys? I think that's better. I see the levels bouncing now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. We said all kinds of important things while we
We
were muted
really
there.
didn't. We were just greeting each other.
Why you gotta gaslight the audience?
Sarah, Joel, Sean.
Anyways, hello everyone.
Hello, old friends. It has been far too long.
Yes.
Blame Andrew.
I can't make the same jokes that I just made. Yeah. I also blame Andrew. Anyway.
Hey, it's Mad Economist. Sorry, don't worry, that won't be for long.
Wait, why? Are you becoming less mad or less economist?
No, I'm just withering away.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't actually know if we have a show for you. We might.
I mean, we do. Sorry, I didn't put it in the
Okay.
channel. It's just like the things we talked about last night. So
yes. So just a note here before we get going. The reason we haven't done these in a while is because I've been
hate
moving.
you, and we don't think
it's exactly. I've been moving, and then also we've had all kinds of stuff going on, like the Apple releases and everything, and a lot of this just kind of like resulted in less of these. So yeah, hopefully we get to do more because now we are set up a little bit better to do that. And Blaine is joining us out of the goodness of his own heart.
It's true. It's a rare thing.
Yeah, it is. So I think we can launch in. As always, these are brought to you by headphones.com. A great place to learn about and buy headphones. And we have...
Has it been downgraded? Before it was your number one place.
Sure, it is the number one place
to
learn about and buy headphones. And also we have a forum at forum.headphones.com. And we have a Discord, so you can hang out with us there. And you can yell at Blaine. I think you're still in our Discord. That's a great place to yell at Blaine.
I still moderate the Discord.
Okay, good, ideal.
Yo, this heavenly armed guy making me laugh real quick. Did you know that everyone agrees the Aria is a benchmark? Is this the same guy that was butt mad about me saying that headphone does not spark joy for me?
That listener guy is ruining your content.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're
God.
trying to help people entails representing the full breadth of the gradient of listener preference. And at one end of listener preference, people are not going to like that headphone, man. So just...
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like people can't... Whatever. Yeah, but they can't imagine that something sounds different to somebody else, you know? That they think that this is like there's a permanence to their experience that is universal.
You know? Oh wait, heavenly armed, was that just a copy pasta?
Oh,
yes, okay. Copy pasta.
You got.
I got fucking got. Dude got my ass straight up.
By the way, is this microphone pick up a ton of room tone right now?
Not that I can hear, but I don't have headphones on.
I don't have any like sound treatment for this space, so it's like it is literally an echo chamber in here.
That's like
not just in the noise floor, but in this room.
I mean, that's where
the voices are in the room with me.
It's diffused, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting the full sound helmet effect. Oh, nice. My cousin's here. Shout outs to my cousin.
Shout outs to Andrew's cousin.
Yeah. Okay. So what's our first topic? Topic number one.
Topic number one is the highlight thumbnail title topic, which is HDB 630. I'm like shocked that this headphone isn't getting more hype, or I guess I would be more shocked if like audiophiles typically had a bead on things that are like actually important and significant improvements.
I said literally that. I was talking to somebody else on our team, and I said literally that verbatim. Yeah. I was like
I was talking about this in some servers, and like no one seemed to get as excited about it. And then I saw Joel post, and he was like the only one that got how big a release this is going to be for Sennheiser, and I was like, "Yep, that's Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
point.
but I think the reason, let's just diagnose that, because I think the reason why it hasn't maybe gotten as much hype is because it is in the category wireless and people don't yet know that that's totally fine, and that actually enables, like, we're dealing getting, things like parametric EQ in the app, and also the way that they've done that is really, really good. So, the fact that it's in the consumer or wireless category is, yeah, already enough to kind of make it so that like core, audiophile crowd is maybe less. It's not as immediately on their radar as it should be.
I'm just
Yeah,
worried about the ear pad size. Like, no
I am
cap,
also
everything else
I am
about it.
worried about that as well. I genuinely, like, when to me, I was fully on board with all the hype train stuff that Griffin was churning out, and then I saw that it's the same chassis as the Momentum 4, which by all
yeah, no,
accounts is
you
reasonable. It's
grimaced.
just,
You, you
yeah,
visibly grimaced when you saw it
it's
was the
not
same.
as good as what I was
Yeah.
wanting it to be, right? For the chassis. So that to me is like the only thing that could really sink this.
They
But
should have
even
used
still,
the HD 700 chassis. The only thing
yeah,
that thing had
yeah.
going for it was being comfy.
I feel like they don't really want to do that in a closed back, though. It's just a hunch.
Yeah.
But like the Momentum 4 isn't, it's not the worst. Like,
I mean, when it
it
comes
could,
to like its competition in like the over-ear ANC Bluetooth headphone space,
yeah,
most of those like have to
they're like
be
on
less
ears.
comfortable than that. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
in
find
the
the QC Ultra to actually be quite
QC
decent for
Ultra is
that,
comfortable.
which is
QC
why I
Ultra is
bought
Yeah.
it.
comfortable.
But
But if they had done, if they had put it in something like this that has like a much bigger ear pad, right, I would have been happier, right?
yeah.
That's
Well, it
um,
is a different ear pad. It should be said. It is like a.
okay. Fingers crossed that it's actually
I don't know that the dimensions are going to be all that different. I know it's a new material.
Well, if it's from the same chassis as the Momentum 4, we could actually just derive the dimensions of the ear pads on stream.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard,
Yeah.
as long as
I
somebody
mean,
knows how wide the Momentum 4 is.
you wouldn't
Mhm.
even really need to do that. You could just, if anyone has a picture of them actually side by side, which I don't know if I've actually seen. Um, so yeah, I guess then if that picture doesn't exist, you would have to do what you're talking about.
Mhm.
They said it's deeper. I don't think depth was the issue
I mean, depth is also an issue.
with the
Yeah.
Momentum 4.
Depth is always an issue.
Fair.
So, like, if you want it to be in that, like, let's say closed back audiophile space, that chassis is, it's not that great. Like, it's not as good as others. But
Okay,
again,
what
yeah,
other are you thinking of there?
even Sennheiser's own 620S, which is also not the best, right? Like,
Isn't that the other Sennheiser, though?
yeah, no, they're both consumer.
God damn it.
What did you think one of them was pro? The 490 Pro is pro.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the 620 was Sennheiser Pro.
Is it?
Embarrassing.
No, I think
I mean, no, it's probably not. You're probably
the
right.
600 series was, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean, the other funny thing about this release is that, like, this is yet another one-off in Sennheiser's naming convention. So it's like,
Well, no, this is actually taking the name of their old 600 series studio monitor.
Well, it's the return of the HD 630 VB,
Yeah,
but
that
they
one.
shifted some stuff around.
there's just,
But no, like I feel like it makes sense in terms of it being their first wireless headphone that is explicitly audiophile targeted. So like it being a neutrally tuned
well, and so that, let's
wireless
get into
headphone.
that, because this, I think this is also, in a way, kind of like an indication of, like, okay, how much does this sound quality thing really matter, right? Like, if they're able to sell shitloads of these, right, and it's and the story around it becomes genuinely about the sound quality, right? Like, this is more signal that this actually matters in comparison to, let's just go tons of bass and treble and really good ANC, like what every other consumer you know um wireless headphone is. So um that to me is like, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's partially why you hope it sells a shit ton, right? Like
Yeah.
just for the narrative.
Well, okay, so I bring this up because if you look at, I said this in the review of the HyperX thing, right? If you look at the landscape for where the innovation has taken place, It's not in the audiophile headphones. It's
Oh,
in these
gamers.
ones, and they got super competitive. I think, and this could just be a coincidence, but I feel they got competitive because the Maxwell came out. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, this thing's amazing!" They made a ton of noise about it being amazing. We made a ton of noise about it, but like it wasn't just us. It was like gamer channels and tech channels and all that stuff. And then that made it so that all those other companies making products like that had to go like, "Oh shit, that's really that people like that, so we're gonna make it like that," and they did. And so now I'm like, well, if Sennheiser's coming out with something like this, which is it seems to be almost everything that we want, to me, it's like if that's signal, that's a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that it's compelling enough to really drive people to a product like this, because then it's like it restores my faith in audiophile consumers a little bit if they take a release like this seriously and do kind of
Yeah,
show up in
exactly.
droves to buy. But I'm not
Particularly
sure that's
given
really
that,
gonna happen from how it's being talked about as of now. Like,
well, I don't know. I mean, like the Batiste deservedly didn't get a lot of hype, and it still sold quite well. So hopefully the Kyle and I have the same thought. So
Is
yeah,
it Kyle, or is it just a
has
different Kyle?
a kind
that
of
is Kyle.
a
Okay.
premium esoteric appeal to it that is not what
I mean, yeah, but
Sennheiser
the
is going.
reality is people are still going to buy nice looking objects because they're nice looking objects, not necessarily because of like they'll buy it based on the promise of great sound quality, right? But like it has nothing like I don't know
I
how much of
like
that is
how
actually.
the 630 looks.
No,
I
me
mean,
too.
like
I
it's
much prefer
No,
it.
I do as well, but you have to recognize like, and I was having this argument like just the other day, uh, that basically it's like we might think that that's a good looking product, but there are a lot of people who buy the esoteric looking ones because they're esoteric looking, right? Um, and in a way, it's like we do. I expect if this does execute on all the things that it is promising, I expect it to handily eat the lunch of every other noise canceling headphone like that's promising good sound quality in that ballpark. But I don't think it's going to eat the lunch of the $1,500, $1,200 ridiculous stuff, right? Because people who are spending $1,200 and $1,500, $2,000 on this stuff are going to do that regardless, right?
that's what the HDB 830 is for, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They just make it more ridiculous looking. They
I mean,
should.
the
Probably.
question is for that high end customer, like, what is it about the 630 other than price that you think would dissuade them? Like for me, I think it would probably be that the look isn't
It's
like
the look.
glamorous enough.
It's it's an engineer's looking product, not a designed product, right?
I don't agree with that take. Like,
I love Argus take. That a fake 660 grill on the outside would have been nice.
Somebody's gonna turn it into like the marble countertop, aesthetic, just to piss me off.
The problem
I
there,
know that we have at least one designer in chat. What do you think about the take that the HDB 630 is
No,
not
that's not the
designed?
take. That's not the take. The take
Yeah.
is that people with bad taste
Yeah.
will think that.
Eh. I don't know. I mean, like, understated is a really common style, though. Like, I don't know.
Like
I'm
Blake,
not
you
so
and
sold
I,
on that.
you and I like the way that the 490 Pro looks, right?
Well,
I
yeah,
think.
but I'm saying like this is a little ostentatious for my liking in some respects. Like they really don't need to have the sort of flashy transition on the yokes there, but
For the HDB.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could make this more subtle, but what I mean is that this really is not that much more muted than
Dude, this is like the
AirPods
most
Pro
headphone
or
looking
some
headphone.
shit.
It's perfect.
Well, I think the color is more muted for one. Because does the AirPods Max come in a black?
All right. I don't know. I don't know actually.
I didn't
They
think
have a midnight.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's sufficiently black, but I do think the headband geometry and the cup
They
shape
also have
are a lot
space gray.
less conspicuous. Oh, okay. I didn't know they added so many neutral shit, or maybe they had those and I just thought about it as like the bright pink and bright green that I had seen, because I don't know. I don't love the look of that headphone. I like how smooth the ear cup looks, but I don't like the shaping of most of it.
Something about the way the yokes attach makes me like viscerally upset.
Yeah,
And
I
I
also
can't really explain that, but I hate it.
yeah. I do think that the HDB 630 just isn't flashy enough for people to spend.
No, but that's
$100
that's
on
what I
it.
was saying before. It's like it's the people with bad taste won't like it.
But it's interesting that, I think above $500, I think there's a lot of customers who are like not at all interested, or at least when it comes to like a passive product, not at all interested in like the prospect of EQ or sound personalization features or anything like that.
Yeah, but they
With
can
a
pound
wireless
sand.
product, I feel like because that is how they get their tuning, um,
Mhm.
there's basically no argument against that, right? Because there's going to be EQ anyway. You might as well make it the EQ that sounds good to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of this with this product in general that is so refreshing, right? Where it's like, let's just stop. I mean, despite let's ignore the fact that it seems reasonably tuned out of the gate, right? The fact that they're putting in parametric EQ and the way that they're doing it is, to me, it's like, okay, well, you know, nuts to all the naysayers about EQ. We're just going to make a good fucking product, and then the people will like it.
Yeah, and again, that's so obviously not what I would say about like the 660S and S2, but like I do feel like that is kind of the HD6 series philosophy, is just like stop beating around the bush and
Yes,
just make something good.
make something good, and the
And
people will show up if it's good.
well, not even that, but just like
Come around.
it's not something that's going to need to be upgraded in
Yeah,
2-3 years. Like obviously, they might do some
sure.
research that,
But you can make that product in the
or
tens
you can
of
just push a
thousands.
firmware update.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what I meant by that is that this is the kind of wireless product where like people won't need to buy another one as long as the battery lasts,
As long as
right?
it fits, as long as it's comfortable,
Yeah,
which is
no,
a
sure.
big
I mean, if it
question
doesn't
marks.
fit, they'll return it
Yeah,
quickly, I would assume. But yeah,
yeah,
I feel like that kind of 6 series philosophy, I don't know if intentionally or not, has just kind of ended up being make
yeah.
something solid and people will just buy it and continue to use it.
Ky
And that will be their
Kyle
head.
says, I actually don't know about that. I see PX8 users asking about what EQ to use. Different headphones. That's the EQ to use on that one.
Yeah.
Wallet-based EQ.
I wonder how many of those people went into it not knowing what they were buying and then are just looking for a way to
Yeah,
salvage it though, right?
yeah.
I mean, like Bowers and Wilkins in general, I have no idea why anyone buys them.
They do look
I
nice.
don't.
I do quite
They
like
do
them.
look great.
I don't
They
like how they look.
they do. They look solid. They're built well. The I haven't tried the S2s of anything, but all the PX8 stuff that I've tried has been like so shockingly bad that it blows my mind that they are coped about
Well, I
online,
mean, the speakers are worse, so
and somehow weren't they acquired by
Harman?
who were,
Yeah,
yeah, I thought they were at least.
they were. I mean,
So,
well, strictly, I think they were bought by somebody who was bought by Harman.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sound United.
Like, yeah, Sound United. I think that's
yeah.
it. Because they had a car audio thing. Because like that's the big thing that Harman has been trying to consolidate is basically complete ownership of the premium car audio space, which they pretty much have now. So I think that was more the impetus than a legacy manufacturer of subpar speakers.
I think so. Joel brings up that Bowers and Wilkins is, for whatever reason, one of the audio brands that normies have heard of, and he gets asked if they're good. And I feel I don't know if
They're
this
in
is
Best Buy.
the story, but yeah, no. So that's what it is. It's like they
Expensive
were
thing.
not only like the top echelon of pricing at a place like Best Buy, but also before Apple had like all of these first party products and was more like they just weren't as big as they are now. Bowers and Wilkins was like the headphones that you would find at the Apple store that were like the most expensive headphones were like Bowers and Wilkins, like the on ears with like
This
the
is
bar.
Odyssey EL8 erasure, by the way.
Oh, I
It's
never
true.
saw one of those in an
They
Apple store.
were.
I
I
definitely
saw
thought
them.
it was Wilkins.
They were there. I was gonna say you could also probably find them in like airports and like upscale malls and stuff like that.
Sure.
You do see them in airports. Like the two brands that you don't see a ton of in normal stores, but I see in most airports are B&W and Sennheiser.
Yeah.
Mont Blanc.
Okay, for audio.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as Kyle says, boomers and Wilkins, right? Like it's one of those things where like there's a lot of sort of vitriol sent our way because of what we've said about the PX8.
Sent your way.
Sent my way specifically, yeah. But every time I try another unit of that, thinking maybe I just got a bad unit, it's like this is unlistenable. It's awful. And then you turn the bass down in the app because it's hilarious, and it reveals like just how weird the rest of it is too.
There is no redeeming merit to it.
No.
You know what surprises me though is that Klipsch doesn't have something like that, because Klipsch is literally just American B&W.
That they don't have an over-ear wireless headphone?
Yeah.
Don't
Wouldn't
they?
that do they?
I would be surprised if they didn't.
I
don't think that they do.
Headphone that enters into my brain is the Heritage whatever thing.
Yeah, that was discontinued like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
no, they have one headphone on their site, the T52 True Wireless earphones.
Oh yeah, I guess these are old. I'm looking at the Klipsch reference. But yeah, no, you're right.
I see Klipsch reference. Speaking of wireless headphones, we could talk about these. I don't know if you want to talk about these.
That's topic number 3.
Okay, got it. Is there anything else on the Sennheiser one? We're very excited. I mean,
well, Joel had a take there that I think is correct, which is that people, like, once this comes out, there's a very high chance that the technicalities of the headphone will be seen to be disappointing.
Of course.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, because it doesn't have as many weird colorations. Although, again, I keep having to remind folks that it's hard to know. There's like, marketing copy, and then there's production units. And in the past, there have been discrepancies there.
So did you see that post on Reddit where this guy walked into a store in Toronto and was just able to get an HDB 630 and then started posting impressions? And first of all, the impressions were like terrible. He was contradicting himself at every turn, and it was.
I didn't see this post at all.
It was not useful. It was not useful. But Eric showed up in the thread and was like, "Hey, so what you heard was not the HDB 630, because the app that carries the sound profile of the HDB 630 that will like push that as soon as you pull the headphones out and pair them to your device and open the app and stuff, wasn't pushed because that app doesn't exist yet. Like it's not.
Is just somebody lying or what?
So I think he was listening to like
Momentum,
either a Momentum or like, because it is a different acoustic structure on the inside now. So it's like this new design with the Momentum's DSP or something like that. Or he was just listening to like the uncorrected sound of the headphone, which would
like
also probably be terrible. So
yeah, like the acoustic only. Yeah.
That's never going to sound good for an ANC.
No.
So where was this post about this?
He deleted it. This was on our headphones or our Sennheiser.
Our Headheiser.
So actually, we should probably talk about this. We're talking about it a little bit before about the codec. People will rightly complain that it doesn't have lossless or whatever, right? But the reality is that stuff doesn't really matter.
I mean, it's more that it's a compromise that's probably worth making versus all of the other stuff about the product that is good. Because even the other like comparably priced wireless headphones, I think, have the same issue.
Well, right. I think the bigger problem though is that this is perceived to be a bigger issue than it is, right?
Sure.
People will attribute all kinds of gains to sound quality. or they'll attribute that to lossless. And when it doesn't have that, it's like, well, it's it's not pure.
I
And
do
then
think
they'll
it was a
pick something that's
marketing
cut up.
blunder to not have support for it, though. Like, that's
Sure,
something
yeah,
that I
that's
think
what I'm
that they would
saying.
have been wise to have.
Yeah, which is,
It
and
would have
it's
just
so
made it all
annoying that
yeah.
it is a marketing thing, right? This is, what is it, Goodhart's law, right? It's
Yes, once a measure becomes
yeah,
used as a target, it ceases to be a useful measure.
yeah. I mean, or no, wait, what's the one that is the, if something can be gamed, it will be, or maybe that is the one.
That is
That's the
the
one. Yeah,
Goodhart's law is that it's just stated more subtly.
yeah, yeah. It's the Razer DPI wars. Um, yeah. So, to me, I think that's the big knock against it that people will find. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's not lossless, so it's not going to be as detailed as my absolutely bonkers frequency response bullshit wired product that I'm using."
Yeah, I mean, I do want to leave some space for the fact that the frequency response on people's heads will probably be like significantly different above a certain frequency with this versus like,
It seems
I don't
okay.
know, like an open
Am
headphone.
this is just from eyeballing their marketing. Seems a little relaxed in the 5K region.
Yeah, which may end up being a decent thing.
No, not a bad thing. It just is something I noticed. It looks suspiciously like the Batiste MG in dynamic mode with its default sound signature,
So
with
yeah,
that same kind of relaxed, kind of low to mid treble character.
yeah. I mean, that's an area that on the human head measurements I've seen is
Sure,
very
but
often raised,
that's on 5128, so it might be even darker
which
there.
typically.
Maybe.
No, I'm saying like 5128 usually underestimates that band.
Oh, underestimates it. Got it.
versus
Got
human
it. Got it.
results.
Got it. Okay.
We really need to get more data in this area.
Indeed.
Yeah, other than like 2 fucking headphones, full agreement. Jesus.
Also, more open canal data. Like, I really would like to have
Yes,
that
yeah.
last variable removed.
I've been very very glad to have Douglas in my DMs sending me things, because actually the Momentum 4 was one such design where there was a big discontinuity in the 5K band between the 5128 results.
Oh, did you get to the bottom of that?
Result?
Because we were okay. Well, he and I were chatting about it, getting some weird results on it. Why it sounded great, but his measurement kept being a bit odd.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, okay. I thought, yeah, we were chatting about it. I wasn't sure if that was solved, but our measurement looks a lot more like the way it sounded, at least to me.
I don't even know if I've seen our measurement. Oh no, I have. It
You
did
have,
look
yeah.
quite bright, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I remember when this just speaks to your earlier point about the HDB 630 varying on different heads, most likely if it's that same chassis design. With the Momentum, I found 2 consistent conditions that were quite different from one another, and like acoustically quite different. And so it's difficult to be like, okay, this is the one that's representative, because
Was it that it was like different in the treble, or was there
mids, the mids would get
No,
quite,
that's the feedback system thing.
yeah,
Like, I like that's another thing that you trade the consistency in the 500 and below band for
Yeah.
weirdness directly above that, which
Yep.
yeah, is probably going to be something that people are going to have to be careful about. But it does seem like whatever kind of tonality they went for in the 500 to 2 kilohertz band is, at least per their measurements and Doug's measurements, a very reasonable default kind of position to be in.
Mhm.
So it's likely that the best course of action will be kind of leaving that region alone and then affecting whatever's below and above it, to kind of get to a best case scenario with the field of variation you get. But when we get the headphone, we'll definitely do a bunch of different placements and clamps and stuff like that, so we can kind of figure out what the field of variation around this feedback cringe area is.
So Joel is objecting to your characterization of this as an inherent thing of feedback. If I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about the fact that there tends to be unevenness in the band where, shall we say, the phase differences get less easy to account for as you get into the 500, 800 hertz, that sort of thing.
Where it's not just I guess easy to measure pressure, because what's happening is the volume size is usually what's changing.
Ye-
So
So Joe, what's being said is not that this screws the mid-range inherently. It's that
it's just
that's
there's
on the
variation.
edge of the stability of feedback in general, and it's an area where it doesn't necessarily have a perfectly flat pass band.
It
Depending on
was for
things.
the M4, so it's reasonably likely that, because I don't think they updated the ANC like feedback system at all
Well,
here.
I mean, they might have. Like,
No, Eric said it was basically the
oh,
same. Yeah,
not straight from the horse's mouth.
yeah.
Okay. We will have more information on that, hopefully, once we have it available and once it is released.
So move
As
the
Joel
region.
says, so move the region lower. So the thing about that is that,
I don't think that's a good idea.
well, so they're trying to hit really high levels of attenuation, and it's not that easy to get a fuckload of attenuation at 500 hertz. And that's where we get into people complaining about I can still hear people's voices, which is, trade-off.
Yeah, but I mean,
Azad, I have heard Eric say that the ANC is going to be very similar. The passive
So,
isolation might be different because they are
mediocre.
a new ear pad. So we'll see.
But still, there is a market for products that are more sound quality focused, where there's still some ANC, but it's not like, that's not the leading thing, right?
Look, honestly, to me, the biggest benefit of this is not the ANC. It's that it's
you could
back with the ability for transparency mode.
That's right, and the parametric built in. So it's like you could turn it into wireless, the best wireless closed-back headphones. So to answer the question that is the title of this, do we think that the HDB 630 is going to be, like, if we had to, conjecture here, is it going to make other closebacks basically irrelevant? Does it eat the lunch?
I give it
Not just wireless.
I give it a 60%, and 35% of the other part is that I don't know if it's going to be comfortable.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
yeah,
I'm right there with you.
we'll have to see. I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance on the comfort, as good a chance as possible, because I'll have Brian send me a capper strap. To
It's
actually
lightweight, at
solve
least.
that. Yeah, no. So like, even if it's lightweight, it's going to be bad on the top. I have just a ridge on the top of my head that just
Conehead.
makes my
You and DMS are just coneheads, dude. What is this?
rail
Why are you
conehead
so
and
pointy.
Yeah.
Our brains are just very small peanuts oriented at the very top of our skulls.
Well, we do have your brain data, so we could figure out exactly where it is.
We also have listeners' skull data.
That's
which
what I'm saying.
It's a shame that we haven't printed out like goblets that are our own skulls yet.
Goblet.
Why are we
Yeah.
waiting?
Ear canals that are containers for things.
Yeah. What, you got a problem with goblets, Griff?
I've seen the front of Griffin's skull. It's with his face cut off. It's really strange.
Yeah, didn't like that much.
I have a collection of files that is this data.
Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what is most compelling to me about the 630 is, the 5-band parametric EQ is probably going to be very useful. But the idea of a closed back that is wireless, that can be very isolating or much less isolating depending on what situation I'm in. I typically just like as little occlusion as possible. But I would basically never expect them to make this product in an open back.
No.
So I feel like this is kind of the realistic scenario of a product like this existing, where I get semi-open-ish sound, but in something that has onboard stored EQ. So very excited for that. Hopefully the comfort works.
Yeah. Excited. Okay.
Okay, so for the next two topics, I have either whatever's been going on in the science sphere. So Sean put out his MOA paper that we were all there for the
presentation.
For the presentation, but there was at least one thing that I think either was mislabeled in the presentation and fixed in the paper, or wasn't in the presentation, which was the band values.
Can we do, just before that, can we do just a quick note on, did you like the AirPods Pro 3 postmortem here? there's a firmware update.
Oh god, that's been a whole fucking mess. Yeah, we can talk about that. We don't have a topic for us. I'm just gonna put up news and impressions. But yeah, we
Blaine,
should.
also, did you follow the AirPods Pro 3 release?
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people didn't. I mean, like, it strikes me that a lot of people seem to have focused more on the sound quality versus the stuff. Like, people are saying that it has better ANC and much better transparency and shit that makes it a massively better product.
My main concern was fit. My secondary concern was sound quality. My third concern was the stuff you're talking
The thing
about.
is, like, so it is true that it was better for those things. That didn't make me want to listen to it or use it more.
It did make me want to cope more. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the
didn't.
transparency mode being so much better for me did make me want to cope with it.
Yeah.
I just
So, but
couldn't.
with the dynamic EQ firmware update thing, Mark Ryan has data showing that basically there is no change.
Yes, on measured at 5 different volume levels on
Did he
his.
turn off headphone accommodations?
Oh yeah, no, he's not using headphones.
Okay.
But ratings measured it and showed some level of difference. But
this has to be just a priming thing, right? Like, this has to be
so,
just.
hold on. I actually want to check really quick because I feel like ratings results was at the absolute SPL value and not at the amount of volume clicks, which may be what was going on here. Who was posting about it? Roho was posting about it, I think. Oh no, it is the absolute the volume clicks. So it showed that there was a little bit less bass and treble at equivalent volume now, which Mark's results didn't show. I don't know what device.
Yeah, Marks are primed, right?
Yes, they are primed. Okay. But ratings was done on the iPhone 16, whereas Mark's was on a MacBook.
Okay.
So it's possible that on phones they may have changed kind of the where in the volume band, I guess, the adjustments.
I did have a thought about this though, right? Like, because for me, this does not make this a good product. This doesn't make it something that I would ever choose to use. Like, if it did actually change the dynamic,
the volume adjustment EQ,
it wouldn't change that for me. But I do wonder, because for me the big issue is, again, it's the length mode issue and the way that it achieves the V shape, right? But I do wonder that for people who just didn't like the V shape but didn't have those length mode issues, right? Like, say they had, ear canals more like yours, or that 6 kilohertz peak didn't bother them, this might actually make it more palatable.
Yeah, if the comfort was better, that might have been enough to save it for me.
No. But at the same time, we don't know that it's actually occurred.
I mean, you still have yours. You should measure.
I still have it. Yeah, I will look into it. Yeah, it's just a fucking nightmare to measure these things. But yeah. Yeah. Well, now that we understand the condition difference.
Okay, so the two things we can talk about are the MOA thing, and kind of how people are either outright like ignoring that paper, like no one is talking about it, or misusing the data, or we can talk about our talk with Cali.
We do both. Let's do the MOA one first. That's not exactly new, right? Like, it's new paper, but it's like we've seen that as almost over a year ago now, right?
We have had some version of that data for a while.
Yeah. And so it's just like, when you say people are ignoring it, like who is?
So I mean,
who is the people here?
No one has really added like this to their process. Like, no one is talking about like for how ubiquitous Harman is in the IEM space. Like, there's been vanishingly little talk of a study with a better ear simulator, more test subjects, and by all accounts, a methodology that seems at least a little bit more complete, well thought out than the previous one. So yeah,
Joel,
so this is the second part, which is the how people are treating the data that I want to talk about here, Joel,
okay.
because Kryn got it from me. I put it on my 5128 tool, and I actually recently took it off.
Can I just have a parenthetical? I can't find this because the AES website is a
Oh, I got you.
hellscape.
Dude,
I don't
it
have
is
the
sucks
download.
so
so bad
God.
recently. I'll DM you.
Yeah, like I know what the paper is, and I still can't get it, and the PDF is on my laptop.
Yeah, I got you. I just
It
love that
sucks.
your last
Is that a
Blaine's last message to me is Freg pointing at me saying furry.
It's true. It's true.
Blaine was educating me. No, Blaine was mansplaining to me. Different.
well, he was
different
furry
types,
splaining
but-
to you.
I beg your pardon.
You were mansplaining
You
to me.
So someone who will
Explaining.
not be disclosed made reference to something in furry culture, and this moron was like, "What the fuck is a Sergal?" And I was like, "You don't want to know."
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
to
that
be
wasn't
fair,
mansplaining because I didn't know, but you were mansplaining protogens to me, and those I
Okay,
do.
yeah.
so
Knowing what a
genuinely he was
protogen is,
furry splaining to you.
knowing what a protogen is means that you're a furry.
Oh my
Most
God.
furries don't
true.
even know what a protogen is.
I was unfortunately moderating a server that was under the aegis of a protogen. So
Okay, let's move
Okay,
on from
furry.
that.
yeah,
the
but
only
okay,
ti-
so back to what I was talking about, removing the MOA. So Crane has it on his grapher, and it's just an average of all of the results. So we have the average for each listener as well as the confidence intervals, and having traced all of that and averaging all of that data, you get an average of all of it. But after some actual thinking about it, I'm not sure that kind of treatment of the data really makes sense. Like the part of what we've been doing is trying to lead people away from the single line target average thing, and kind of more give people the freedom to find their space within the field of variation and educate them on why they should do that over just thinking a target will be perfect.
because this goes to what we were talking about on Discord the other or just yesterday. It's basically the well, I mean, I think you put it fairly succinctly. It's like the alternative requires people to learn a new thing.
Okay,
Right,
so
just-
question. This is the paper. There's not like a bunch of extra people in here that I missed somewhere. This is still the same.
40 something or 36 listeners or
so
something.
he
like
did
that.
36 in that initial room that we got. That was the same as
I think
like
it's the same amount of
yeah,
listeners.
it's the
only
same as
thing
from
is we
before.
actually have like the paper to check
Okay.
every part of the methodology and all that.
Because
So my sense of
doing
it is that
cluster analysis on such a small group seems a little bit sus to me.
right. So my sense of it was that
Yeah,
before
big issue with
was
the paper.
he was releasing that as like a preview of the thing that he was working on, and the assumption was that he would then build this out in a more robust manner. But it seems that that's not what this is. It's just the same.
I mean, it's still an interesting paper.
Definitely. Yeah, it still gives an inkling as to, you know, the kind of variation we could expect from a small sampling of people who, you know, may have some familiarity with
Well,
audio.
but also,
I think all of it was Harman employees.
and to me, I still take
Bold of you to
I
assume
don't
Harman
take
employees have
the-
hurt the Harman target.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But but I still I don't take his conclusions from this, which are again to bolster the previous work that had been done and basically maintain its sort of how it clinging to the vestiges of life. I take the same people can prefer two very different tunings, provided that they're
Yeah. And if you look at
similarly based on
so-
triple delta.
this is part of why I don't like the idea of like what was kind of historically done in the early Harman like over ear work, which is where you just average all of the preferences to get an average curve from an MOA study like the 2013 paper. That is what they did. I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's necessarily a great idea, both because of in this study the confidence intervals are
Can you
quite
put it
wide.
on? Can you put it on screen? Would it be
What am I putting on screen?
just the paper?
Hold on.
Or the
have-
abstract? I don't know,
Furry.
something.
I have a lot of proprietary information on my screen right now.
It does.
Hold on.
So, while you're unable to make a riposte here, I do want to say I kind of disagree. Like, I feel like the counter jerk may have gone a little too far on that one, and obviously, I am the initiator of that counter circle jerk. But
Yes, you're
the
King Jerk over here.
No,
Yeah.
now you're just
Wait, so I'm just pulling up the paper.
hedging against your counter jerk.
well, no, it's
Why
I
are,
think-
why are you edging your jerk, Blaine?
Right. So, in serious, I think that if we look at the results of the 2017 and 2018 papers, the fact that the average target performed as well as it did in round robin comparisons means that for what they were trying to do, it was a reasonable methodology. It doesn't give us the totality of what makes a headphone enjoyable, but from the perspective of a manufacturer who should have been using this to tune their headphones, even though they didn't, it would have been an extremely useful guide, right? Like,
Sure.
So I don't think that. I think that is more of a case of trying to apply something that's not made for something. Like,
Right. No. I completely agree. So like that's why I'm not saying the paper is like necessarily flawed, because they don't average the curve in this paper really. Like they don't make any strong conclusions
well, no,
about
I mean like the 2013, like the averaging that Sean did was not wrong. It's just that
right. It made sense for what the goals of the paper and why the paper was funded. Like they wanted an average target, so they got one. But
Joel
when it
asks
comes to
if this
us,
is an open access paper, or is this a paywall? Like,
I think this one
you linked me this paper.
But anyway, what I was saying was that because we are in the position of, perpetually being the ones that actually bring this information to people, it would behoove us not to do that, because our goals are going to be different than, a product designer or someone who's funding this paper's. Well, not this paper, because it doesn't seem like Harman really funded this. But like the 2013 paper, where they were funding it to get an average curve that would help them develop product. So this is the confidence intervals, where I feel like if we're averaging, these are some pretty wide gaps on a listener by listener basis.
Okay. Sorry,
not-
Joel just texted me that he was asking if you were committing piracy.
yes, that's what I was concerned about as well.
Oh, am I?
I think you may be committing piracy.
No, I'm pretty sure this one's open access.
Maybe you should fuck up your wrist scraping every single data point in a paper.
I mean, I did scrape every single point in that one. Like I'm the one that did this, because you don't care about IEMs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although I don't care about IEMs, but I may have accidentally become IEM Messiah.
Why?
If a zany idea that I've had actually works out, I think that I will have saved IEM measurements.
Oh,
I will not elaborate further.
All right, it's all right. I think I know.
You don't.
I think I know what you're talking about. You're trying to discard the old cart and horse, and I see where you're going with this. But anyway, where did Andrew go? What the fuck?
I'm just
He's in his natural habitat.
This is his happy place. This is where he feels good. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, as the reviewers and as the people, maintaining measurement databases and all that, I feel like that the single line target thing is something we were kind of right to lead people away from, because I think the bigger issue has been at least that people treat the dotted line with very much authority, and they would do well to not do that quite as much, especially because of both what Andrew said, where in the paper that preceded this one, people preferred very different curves similarly, but also that individuals can prefer very different adjustments to the same curve, seemingly with not that much discernment.
Something that really weighs on me a bit is this question of, well, I mean, I know someone who actually did a master's on like UI design and visualization and stuff. And this is a whole field of study. But in audio in particular, we fucking suck at making data visible in ways that makes people understand what we're showing them. Like Sean's whole thing against the whole compensate to DF thing is, and he's not wrong, if you make DF the flat line, people will assume flat line good, right?
He's not wrong.
But there are that really just shows that there's something wrong with how we're conveying this information to begin with. And I'm not really entirely sure of what to do about that. I don't know. I am haunted by this.
Sorry,
Joel-
I'm struggling to get my camera to work.
All good. Joel says, the fact that Daybreak on the graph ought to have been essentially perfect for me, but was actually unlistenable, has made me extremely skeptical of the general reliability of IEM measurements. And people should be extremely skeptical. So I had sent Joel this paper. I don't know if you had seen it. At the same time as the MOA paper was released, Harman had released another paper co-authored by Sean with Etienne. I forget his last name. It starts with an R, I think. Where it was estimating the ear canal transfer function and headphone transfer function of IEMs in an actual ear.
Actually, but yes.
Oh, did I say ear canal?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Well, no, actually, I think there are canal transfer functions in there too.
There are, but they're trying to get DRP data out of measurements in the canal is their whole thing.
Yes. Which to me is the way more interesting paper here, frankly. Both because of the way they did it and the results they got, even though a lot of it is over my head for the math stuff. The results they got were very compelling. And it showed what I had expected to a certain point, which was that the variation we see around kind of if we treat the 5128 as the average HPTF for these devices, the variation around that average is quite large and quite unpredictable in places I think people wouldn't think to find such unpredictability. So I do think IEM measurements are, again, kind of playing into the wanting not to give people the impression of too much certainty by giving them like an average target or something like that. The single line of the measurement as well is probably an overconfident display of an IEM's tone, or the likelihood of an IEM sounding that way to a person. So, yeah. It's rough.
Okay, so I'm just skimming this again, but my memory was that basically this is basically they're doing what's effectively what is it? How am I forgetting the name? The way that you measure any kind of voltage divider, where they're comparing the effects of two loads, one of which is known, and using that to derive the output impedance of the earphone, basically. So which would work.
That would be called
Substitution, I think. I don't know. It's like there is a term of art. I'm just stupid.
Joel says single line target is fine. It's the single line measurement that needs to go. I don't really agree.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah. So I actually think single line target, if the target has bounds around it of some sort and isn't arrived at with the use of only one replicator device, could be fine. But I feel like just what we have now when it comes to single line targets, where it's just a line. No, I don't think it's lying to people. I just think it's oversimplifying.
What is lying, really?
Line is line. I'm going to get more seltzer. I'll be right back.
I could use some seltzer.
Does a single line target exist? I'm not so sold on this, Joel.
Well, he's saying single line measurement is a lie because of HPTF variation. or non-HRTF related HPTF variation. And also in situ, just general in situ variation.
Hero STB, if targets are imaginary, then how did I go to one last week?
Hey, they're all gone in Canada, so they are
Single line
imaginary.
target, it is an HPTF. So if you have that problem with a headphone measurement, then you have that problem with a target too.
Yeah.
The question here is what a target is and what it's for.
Buying shitty products.
I mean,
Temu for white people.
gotta hand it.
Temu for white people?
Bold of you to suggest that Temu's primary demographic is not white people.
This is fair. This is fair. Okay, back to the topic.
I mean, at least it doesn't have to be an HPTF, but I think most times it ends up being one because that's how we arrive at those targets has typically been, as long as people have been doing this in our space, it has been by using a replicator headphone and making that line dotted.
Again, what is the goal in practicality of having a target? Like, we know that there are effects from type of music on people's preferences for FR. At what point, like, is the utility just giving us a mean average of what an individual likes? Is the utility giving us a safe zone to shoot inside of? Is the utility defining the boundary range for an equalizer? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out is what is a target?
All right, so now we have to go into whether we're talking about final causes or functional causes. No, I'm kidding.
No. I can answer this way more simply.
Yep.
It's just something that I can use to win arguments online.
Yes,
so, I mean, the meme, but
that's where I was going with it, is that like you guys are like vastly overestimating the thought process that goes into a person reading a graph against it or a result against a target.
Well, like I'm not talking about those people.
Yeah, but that's the majority of people who are engaging with
we're the people who are making decisions about whether there should be targets and what targets they should be. So we're the ones who actually need to think.
Well, again, it's an exercise in communication at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, but what are we trying to communicate?
Yeah.
I think what we should be trying to communicate is that, unfortunately, none of this is simple.
I don't think that's going to be a winning message.
I don't think it's going to be a winning message, but it's closer to the truth than I think what might be a winninger message.
I feel like there's a way to the maximum extent that the truth allows, answer the question people come in with when they're looking at measurements, which is, does this sound good? One thing I do think actually, and this is something that is kind of a weird trait of the whole discourse on measurements, is that for some reason, people take this sounds good to mean not this sounds not good. And I've never been entirely clear on why. Like, that's a lot of the people who are mad at Harman is like, well, I like thing that totally doesn't match Harman. What am I, stupid?
Yeah, but that's the reality. It's the way that people are. The default approach to just what this looks like, right, is not this, not good.
It is very binary.
Yeah, it's a disqualification,
But the thing is,
oriented.
Unlike you fucking spring chickens here, I was around when this started. The people who were like, oh, what, I don't like this target, so I'm a moron, started in like 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013, before there was anyone who was using Harman as a this is good score.
Man.
It's like they called forth from the ether the demons of today.
But I kind of think it was bound to happen based on just like what it is to look at two lines on a screen that are like I think it was inevitable, right? Like, and it's not like it's not like again, I don't think that we can lay blame at the feet of the researchers here, for this, but it's not
No,
like
it's the consumers who are wrong.
of
It's
course
always the
it's
consumers who
always
are
yeah.
wrong.
But of course, at the same time, look at the way that even something like the statistical model represents things. I've had phone calls from manufacturers getting mad at me for using measurements because somebody else represents measurements as an error curve. And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with me, right? So the fact that that is like baked into the mindset of anybody who's coming at this, right? They think that a deviation is effectively the wrongness of the product.
The
You know,
the amount of wrong is the
yeah,
amount.
the amount of wrong that it has. That is something that is reinforced by some of the representations that exist even in the research, right? And even in the language that Sean that uses, when he's talking about this kind of stuff. And now to kind of expand on that further, it is sort of weaseled its way. That kind of thinking has weaseled its way into the minds of anybody approaching any kind of data, even ours, which hasn't been that for a long time, right? So, like the biggest criticism that I see of the material that we put out online is, oh, everybody's just too focused on Harman, right? The AirPods Pro 3 content that we put out, right?
Have they actually watched any of your content?
That's the thing. It's like we're not using Harman here. Like, and this gets to the stupid headphonesty article.
What stupid dishonesty article?
Okay, so here's what
Yeah,
happened.
you have to be very, very, very specific.
Oh my god,
there's a lot.
The one about the AirPods Pro 3, where basically was saying that the AirPods Pro 3 AirPods Pro 2 was closer to Harman. The reason why it said that the AirPods Pro 2 is closer to Harman is because somebody was reacting to one of our videos on the AirPods Pro 3 where we criticized it, saying it didn't sound very good and said it was not as safe or whatever we said, right? And showed how it measured relative to the bounds. And someone interpreted that as us saying it's further from Harman because we use measurements, right? So it's like now ingrained itself. Like this is a part of the thought process that anybody who uses measurements is using Harman, even though we haven't been doing that for ages, right? So it's like we're getting AI slop for the masses based on incorrect, erroneous reactions to information that they didn't understand in the first place.
Honestly, dude, just talking to Arga, who's saying, I don't know why people even mention headphonesty. They market pretty heavily on places like Facebook.
Yeah, it's going to be
older audience or the people that are, like Chi-Fi Facebook people.
I don't really care necessarily if somebody gets it wrong or thinks that the AirPods Pro 3 is further away from Harman, and that's why if they make that mistake, right? But it does bother me that people aren't seemingly willing to engage with the content that we're putting out that is very clearly not doing that, because we're specifically providing them the tools to not do that.
I don't know that any of our tools or approaches are like necessarily intuitive enough to make it.
Maybe not, but even just showing people that this is a
baseline familiarity with like what a Harman target is.
Sure,
so, like, I'm willing to take some blame there, actually.
I'm not because
I think a lot of our language and our visualization is not as transparent and is a little bit
okay. But you're just hedging here. If you take even a little bit of a good faith approach to what, it's not just us, it's what we're doing, what DMS is doing, over at LTT, what other people who've taken this up are doing as well. It is to reveal that this is, even just the slightest little bit of, okay, wait, what's going on with these bounds? What's this, right? It's to show that the sound quality, good sound falls within a range, right? Even just that, like, take nothing else from it. That should at least be a starting point to show that, hey, what we're doing here is specifically not single line targets.
Well, we got to remove the tilt line first.
Yeah, I do like that the tilt line got vindicated a little bit in that one paper.
Well, I mean, the thing is, dude. Well, no, listen,
it's fun for me.
All of this is just definitional. That's why I'm like saying we have to go way back to the what the fuck are we trying to achieve here thing.
As a reference, I do not get. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have XKCDs memorized.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Silicate chemistry is second nature to us geochemists, so it's easy to forget that the average person probably only knows the formulae for olivine and one or two feldspars and quartz, of course. Of course. I mean, that is true. That is a thing we get into.
that's really good. No, but like that is exactly, and that's why when Capra said, what did he say? You guys need to like execute your videos as if, okay, no, you should always assume that viewers have never watched any of your videos. Yeah, full agreement. Like that is,
Or
just-
never even engaged with the measurements portion.
I stand by the thing that I said in response to that.
Which was,
if I had a way to set traps in any content I made that would cause physical pain to anyone who hasn't read at least one other piece, I would. This is a very plain take, I will say. But like, you know, as someone who's doing the YouTube thing, like I feel like there's so many ways for a rando to happen upon the content that it's just kind of part of respecting the audience that may arrive to it.
see, this gets back to a discussion that we had a while ago, which is like quite a while ago, which is like the visualizations should be sufficiently intuitive where the work that you have to do to get them on board is minimal, because like otherwise that's all you do.
Yeah. I also think the fact that as of right now, the tool's not interactive,
And that,
which
yeah,
means there's no way for people to like
Yeah.
hands-on on their own learn how these things work. And there's no way for us to guide them through it realistically in real time yet. You know, it kind of compounds that issue, or means if they want to learn more, they don't know where to do so because we can't point them anywhere in particular to do so.
I don't know. I'd like to
I want
think
to fight
that
someone in chat once you guys are done.
Pandemonium.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen what they wrote. I just saw them.
okay, go ahead and fight.
So Pandemonium says, it's not possible for a headphone/IM to sound objectively good or bad. There can only be intersubjective agreement about what sounds good or bad. However, most normally approach this topic with the idea that there is an objective good, which all headphones should aim for, which is why they get confused. So this is the thing. I'm going to make this metaphor again. Whether you like oranges or apples, you probably don't like feces. There may not be one thing that is most preferred by everybody, but there are some things that are preferred by almost nobody. And in the same way that those would be bad ingredients, they are bad products.
Well,
this is something that I feel like has been kind of intentionally or not kind of missed in the explicit text or subtext of most of the research, which is I feel like a lot of people see these things as trying to find the most preferred because that's what they're often doing. They're often ranking these curves, or they're often, you know, finding a mean result that works best for everyone or whatever. But I feel like in many respects, what we should be aiming for is the least hated curve.
So you and I were talking about this on Discord, just like I feel like yesterday, where it's kind of like people want that paternalistic, like, you know, tell me what good is, Harmon Daddy.
Well, yeah, no, when people
clip that, someone clip that.
When people Google best headphone, they want an answer, so they can.
They want an answer.
They don't want to, you know.
Yeah.
Learn all this. Shit.
And yeah, like the idea that hey, there can be multiple versions of good here is it's kind of a weird thing for people.
Yeah.
I still just don't get why people have so many issues with so many of these extremely simple concepts. Because I've said this before. If I come to somebody, not even going to talk about that. Not going to talk about that.
Go ahead.
But if I come to somebody and say, man, I really enjoy watermelon. If your immediate response is, man, it's really fucked up of you to say lasagna sucks, I'm going to be like, you're insane. And if I tell anyone about that interaction, I'll be like, that person is insane. And yet for some reason, that's like the default in audio.
Wait, is it?
Yes.
I feel like it's the default in certain spaces.
Well, or conversely, if I say, like, the defensiveness thing has a closer parallel, but even then it's kind of wacky where it goes. Like, the concept that people can just have individual preferential variations seems to be something that people either treat as
Well,
therefore there is no truth, or therefore or that's something that doesn't exist.
but okay, I don't know if this is like a counterexample, but I have come across this a number of times. This is I'm
Joel said there's large intersubjective agreement that this is a terrible take.
so
I think
so
he was talking about his last message, which is
Yeah.
Yes.
true banger, which is
so I've come across I'm going to quote from or paraphrase from one of the commenters on our videos who gets into this is a person who gets into all kinds of arguments with people coping in our comments, which is it's kind of fun to read, but also some of it goes a little bit too hard
yes,
sometimes.
this
You
man
know
is
who I'm talking
coping on my side of the argument. Therefore, he is
yeah.
based and
So
true.
So sometimes it goes too far. But one of the things that this person said, it was to do with the criticism of, like, I think I was criticizing a Bear Dynamic headphone or something like that, right? Or something was super bright, and somebody was coping about that, and this person said, "No, you're just used to the taste of burnt coffee, and so you think that's what it should be like," or something along those lines, right? Like you're just used to bad quality sound, and therefore you think that's what it's supposed to be like. And like regardless of like where people fall in terms of like their genuine preference for this, I do think there's an element to people not actually being familiar with what they actually like, not having actually had that experience, right?
I mean, again,
They're stuck
the
in the
range of
in
what a
the
person likes is going to be pretty wide, so they can like that, but
but
they will probably also like something else that's quite different.
right, but then
Well,
you also get into the point of, well, maybe these people just aren't particularly discerning, right? Like I'm saying, like you can have an enjoyable experience of your subjective states in a completely isolated and dark room, but that is very different from going out and seeing the color. You know where I'm going with this, right? And for a lot of people, they just haven't done that, so they don't know what the experience is actually like of listening to good headphones. So they just think, well, this is what good sound is. And so I do get, because it's not like an open fair playing field, right? You don't have the opportunity to try everything as a consumer. It does lead to these sort of siloed takes where people can actually be wrong about their own impressions of things, or at least their judgments about whether or not something is good.
will there ever be a stream here without a reference to Frank Jackson?
No. Why
Not
would
at
you
all,
why
Andrew's
would you assume? This is crazy.
I mean, that would be a new experience for people. Wouldn't that be very Frank
But
Jacksonian?
even that would be a Frank Jackson reference.
Yeah.
So you can't.
I see.
The moment you don't mention Frank Jackson, you mention Frank Jackson.
There's a certain paradox to that.
Yeah, it's like losing the game. Griffin hated this.
So, I had a thought that it was just swept away in this flood of Frank Jackson here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joel said, I think a single line target is not as terrible as people think it is. It depends on what you want from it. Like, if what you want from it is a way to guide people to generally not buy the many terrible products that exist inside of this hellish space, then a single line target is much more effective than not having one. If your goal is to promote understanding of what actually underpins why we like things and how things that are not bad might compare, you have much less incentive to like a single line target. I mean,
Yeah, and look, I think there's a midway point that could satisfy both.
A multi-line target.
Well, no, but something that kind of sits in between a single line and a field of variation that would be sufficient to the people who would have an easier time reading a single line target, or would rather accept or I guess be met with the easy answer that provides, and the people that want to mine down into why they don't like something, which is a reason why a single line target might not be sufficient, because they want to see why they don't. Or
Marcel says calling it the least hated target is a great way of describing it, honestly. I think even that is kind of maximalist. Like, I would describe it as out of the data set we have, the target people disliked least.
Yeah,
But we
that's
don't know if
very
it's the
clear.
least like, but the thing is, like, there isn't a clear answer. Like, if you want something simple, the answer is it sounds good, because it does
Mhm.
sound good on average.
Well, no,
If
but
you
again, this goes back to exactly what we were saying. It's like in so many ways, the data read should be how relevant it is for the sound signature that it might have, to give people a clear indication of that, and whether or not it is good is up to the person reporting their experience with it, right? That's, to me, because we've tried to do this thing where we try to um, have such a strong focus on the measurement being the indicator of goodness and badness, right? The qualification and disqualification. But given the field of potential preference that there is, there's more there in terms of, well, if I remove that idea of like judgment from the data set, right? What does this just tell me about how this thing performs? Again, provided it's not the feces, right? Provided we're talking about apples and oranges and other types of fruit that might be preferable to people. And then, whoever's eating the apple can say, yeah, I like this, or not.
yeah. Sorry, I'm just you brought up the feces, and I started.
That's what happens when you bring
Kyle
up
was
feces.
talking about. We should probably move on.
Okay.
Oh wait, is there anything else about single line targets or targets that we want to mitigate? I like that post, Sir Filth. I am not wearing headphones. I've been wearing headphones all morning.
Doesn't even wear headphones. SMH.
Yeah, I mean, like, I came up here and put on my headphones for this because, I mean, it's the headphone show. It's in the name.
The thing is, I could be wearing headphones and you wouldn't even know.
It's true.
Yeah, but all we see
I don't
is
envy how
Justin
long it must take to dry your hair.
It's an unconscious thing at this point. Like I don't do anything. I just air dry it. So it's just a waiting game.
I hate having moist hair.
It's not the most comfortable feeling in the world, yeah.
Yeah, no, moist hair sucks. That's why I shave my head. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, which is the
So
part.
So
we'll do a video on this, but we had a very, very interesting conversation with the person behind this, and we'll give some context there.
Charles Sprinkle.
Yes, very very smart person.
Why the screen is showing what it is showing right now.
Wait, what? Oh,
we met Sprinkle.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is less to do with the headphone, the product itself. I think we'll have a review come out at some point about this I don't know when we'll do this, but we'll do this soon. But it was more the conversation that we had that raised some interesting questions, I guess, about what something like this is and how this is very different from something like what the HDB 630 is going to be, right?
At least in terms of intended goals, yeah.
Yeah, the intended goals are very, very different. And to me, like, I still have this question of like, okay, does that mean that I have to evaluate it differently because I know the goals are different, right? And it's sort of a open question, but the thing that was interesting about it is this was designed for studios or for professional use, right? As a mobile reference point type thing. And seemingly what they did is they made something that's meant to be trying to solve the circle of confusion, right? So as a reference point for that, but then also as a reference point for what other headphones exist out there in the world. So a person who is using this as a tool can push a button and switch to what the average person might be listening to, like how their music might sound on the average pair of headphones.
Yeah.
That is a very interesting approach to designing something like this as a tool, and it's totally different from the usual kind of concepts around reference, that gets put on the box of all the bigger dynamic or all the, pro marketed headphones, right?
Mhm.
Studio reference, right? This is actually something that actually might be studio reference, but that doesn't mean it actually sounds good. Therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So
yeah,
for background context, Charles Sprinkle is a former JBL Harman employee, now the engineering lead at Cali. So basically, all of Cali's acoustic engineering is done by this one person. So if you like a Cali product, he is probably the reason you like it. He's also responsible for JBL's extremely solid, inexpensive bookshelf monitors. Um, and he was a listener in Harman's earlier work, in over-ear headphones and speakers, I believe. And yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge and experience. I think what was I think most interesting about this was just the gulf between, like, how wide the gulf between what we were thinking about with this headphone and how we were approaching it versus how he thought a normal consumer of this headphone would approach it. So, as Andrew said, it was very very narrowly targeting the pro audio use case, and this is not like, it has ANC, but it's not meant to be a consumer ANC wireless headphone. um, and it may have a Harman-esque, broadly Harman-esque tuning,
slightly
but it's not
different
meant
ear
as
gain.
like an audiophile, good sounding product, necessarily. So the way I was approaching it was kind of the first way, where it's like, okay, this has ANC on it and it's Bluetooth, so I should use it like a typical consumer of
Yeah.
a product like that would use it. And no. So one of the interesting findings from this discussion we had with him was that the ANC was there on the chips, so they decided to implement it, but like we see on products like the Moondrop Edge or like the Ugreen Max 5C, kind of those inexpensive wireless ANC headphones. The ANC, because of the pressure change it causes in the front volume, just nukes bass, or basically everything under like 800 hertz. Um, so the frequency response that is mid at best in its like best setting without ANC gets absolutely destroyed with ANC. So me
Yeah,
personally,
but
who was using it with ANC and it just sounded terrible,
yeah, but
probably shouldn't have been using it with ANC.
but without ANC, right? The idea of like sounds reference with this mode sounds terrible with this mode, but that's what most people are going to listen to your music
Yeah, no,
with.
I 100% stand this idea, and after mixing music with it a little bit, mostly, which is, by the way,
Yes, Joel. Yes.
yes, you are correct. Any competent device with ANC
Yes.
should be compensating for that. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I love that idea and the implementation of that idea. So he was very careful not to say this. So this is not quoting him. But based on the measured response, it's very clear that the two other modes, which are consumer and bass heavy, are respectively the AirPods Max sound signature, with some changes due to like how that headphone coupled on the rig he was using and how well he can mimic it. And then the bass heavy mode is, I believe, like a Sony WH-1000 XM5
Oh, I
or
thought it was
6.
kind of like a Beats-ish tuning for the bass heavy one, but
No,
it's
if you look at it, like Beats is like Harman 200%,
yeah,
where
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like they just add bass and treble contrast, and the mids are
Yeah.
like even more hyped and scooped. Whereas Sony, their whole thing is like just mud, like 300 hertz.
Oh,
They do have the Mudfi on lock.
I
Yes.
would assume that that's listeners' favorite headphone.
No, I don't like the Sony signature all that much. But
But have
what's
I
interesting
don't
about it is that
understand why people like it.
it's really bad.
but
Mostly
anyway,
consumer
what's
stuff.
interesting about it is that it's just a switch on the headphone. So you don't have to like go into a plugin like a lot of these studio products that simulate other headphones do, where you have to have a separate plugin on your master bus, go into it, find the setting that switches it to the other headphone, and then click that. It's just a button, and you just press it, and then it switches.
Yeah.
I found that really, really efficient and convenient because when you're mixing, like, and you're just like focusing on a snare drum or something like that, the differences in tonality are stark enough, but they're also close enough to representative of the important colorations those headphones would have, which are what I'm going to say is mainly the stuff in the bass and mid range. That doing that actually does give you a completely different perspective within like 3 seconds, which is really cool.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a mixed cubes mode on it, like those barefoot speakers.
So that's the thing, though. Like, he's coming at this not from the perspective of studio people and their like dogma and history or whatever. Like, he's coming at it from the perspective of like, what are consumers actually listening to? Which
solving the circle of
mixed
confusion
cubes are not that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I found that feature and that kind of thinking about the product to make a lot more sense once I actually started mixing audio.
Yes, but this is where I have my, like, to me, it sort of triggered this thought in my head of like, this only works if the circle of confusion actually is genuinely solved, right? Like, which is I was saying to you, like, to me, this is a bit of a unrealistic project. Because it's not about
quixotic, which I think
quixotic, yes, but
speaks to the good intentions a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it to me, it's like it's a little bit. It's less about, okay, what do people like? Let's make a thing that sounds like what people like, and more about like what the reference should be, so that we can, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like there's a quite a bit lost there in terms of the practical development of playback equipment that is indexing more for what somebody thinks sounds good, you know?
Joel, I'm wondering, like, what way of thinking? Are you talking about the Charles Sprinkle approach here? Because like I don't want to misrepresent him. What he had his own critique of the circle of confusion and buying into this stuff too heavily. He, I think, very clearly, due to his other products, like if you look at the 305, 306, 308, or the LP6, LP8, he's very clearly a believer in like, okay, we should prioritize a reference system that has the sound that we know is characteristic of a good playback device, which is, you know, why he tuned it to Harman, but the headphone to Harman. But I think he also understands that for a person who's potentially buying a product like this, those things do have value because it just means they don't have to put on their other headphone to get that kind of.
Joel's objection is that people shouldn't do that to begin with. Basically, he sees that as
the disconnect here, I think, is that is only ever like a very edge case, even in the mind of the person mixing. Like, I'm not going from the reference signature to the AirPods Max signature and hearing that the snare is muddy, because obviously it's going to be muddy, and being like, oh my God, I got to fix the snare. It's more so that it gives you a way to identify when you are like completely missing something that a dramatic frequency response shift may actually give you insight to. It is a selfish behavior which may benefit you in the short term, but at the cost of audio as a whole.
Joel the idealist.
No, I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not. No, he's not. Like ideally, we would just
the critique of the circle of confusion.
A deontological critique of the circle of confusion. In this essay, I will.
Look, Joel's right. Like, we should hardline on this shit until everything in the product market just sounds good. Like,
well, I don't know. And that's why that's why I use the word quixotic for this, because it's like it seems like it's like, all right,
what word do you use?
Quixotic.
Are you about to say it's quixotic?
It is quixotic.
Yeah.
Don Quixote.
How do you pronounce the wine region in France that is spelled AUX and then ER?
I have never heard of this.
Auxerre.
I've never heard of this region.
Okay, I guess I shouldn't have asked you that.
Yeah, blame some person.
So the quixotic fare of it, go on.
No, it's the idea of trying to solve the circle of confusion with a product like this, right? Like it's missing the fact that only very few headphone manufacturers are also going to try and do this. Like you're going to end up having a ton of playback equipment. I mean, it's almost like in this product itself, there's an admission of the like flawed nature of that concept, right? That people are going to want these things to sound a certain way. They're going to want differences, right? So if you have, and my critique of this is really that like even the default mode sounds bad. Like the one that you're supposed to use as
It's not great.
it's not a great sound.
Pretty bad.
So even if it's reference, it's still bad.
Yeah. It's like if the reference is too like
yeah. So but it maybe if everybody were mixing using this, right? And then let's say everybody is trying to solve the circle of confusion, then maybe this is okay. But it's not. I'm struggling to find music that actually sounds pretty good with it, and I can find other headphones that are not trying to do this that do sound good with that music. So
yeah, and are less likely to have design issues that this headphone
yeah.
has.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, it was an interesting conversation. Not most because our kind of thinking around it changed, but honestly, he was a great guy.
Actually, he was like it very much opened my brain a little bit to the thought process that I was not considering at all when I just evaluated this headphone. Like it's like I can see the thinking behind it, right? And before I couldn't. I thought there's just something that had gone wrong with this.
Yeah, but what's interesting about that is like that's basically never the case with audiophile like product managers. Like they never like have a coherent ideology of sound reproduction that when you get into a meeting with them for like 15 minutes, there's like, oh wow, I learned something. Like that is basically never happened to me with someone outside of like Axel Grohl. Like
or Yermo.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I agree fully with either of them, but I am saying, with so many of the products being made and the engineers behind them, it's just clear that they're not approaching it with nearly the same level of actual ideology that someone like Charles Sprinkle, is bringing to the to the sphere.
I feel like if you were to yell at him, you'd be like, Sprinkles.
You can't tell me that Sprinkles wasn't his nickname at some point in his life.
I always feel bad for people that have funny names. Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's just a good name. I like that name. I just want to... so Joel's note here about the comparison to the monitor calibration, right? Nobody tried to calibrate their monitor to terrible calibration to see how their photos would look on bad monitors. I actually think the analogy would be maybe more along the lines of like, I don't know if this analogy holds, but like let's use a larger color space reference and then see what it looks like on sRGB, right, with an sRGB clamp. But again, I don't know that like to me that analogy doesn't quite work either, because a wider color space is very different from having just a difference in FR. There's, of course, a stupid dispute about whether an sRGB monitor should have a 2.2 gamma or a piecewise gamma function. Okay, that I'm not familiar with.
I cannot believe that Arga dropped a reference to the Edison Diamond disc there. Really contemporary with that reference. That's a common current meme.
Yeah. Anyway, while we're waiting on one Griffin, how you doing?
Been better, been worse. Been working hard the last few weeks, so I'm kind of taking the next few days to just chill a bit. Might write a blog post or some shit. Oh, yeah. I saw a Hackaday article that made me really mad, so I'm probably going to write a blog post that's totally punching down.
Do you already have your blog up that we can?
Yeah, did you not see his first post?
No, listen, don't link my blog because it has one post on it. Like, fucking let me build some content first.
Okay.
Wait, sorry.
Is this on Substack or?
It's fucking somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember.
You should put it on Substack so people can pay
You
you.
remember? Don't lie. You remember.
I remember what the username is. I don't remember where the blog's hosted.
The username is really funny. I'm pretty sure it's Medium.
Could be Medium.
But no, I
it's
missed who you were
definitely
going
Medium.
to make a punching down response to.
Hackaday.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, Hackaday are like Hackaday is I fucking love science, but for engineers. So it's like
Got it. Okay.
this guy built a CPU out of discrete transistors over the course of 10 weeks. Here's our article about it and a link to his video. Or, want to learn how you can build a voltage reference? And it's like, and they're all, I don't want to say they're bad. Hackaday sometimes features interesting stuff, but it really is just I fucking love science, but for engineering. So it's never deep and it's almost never really accurate to any specialist subject because, yeah.
Sorry, Kyle says NWAV guy is back.
Well, you saw the name of the blog, right?
I didn't, no. So I want Blaine to link it.
You'll find out.
I feel like you linked it like while I was in the middle of something else, so I never actually opened it.
Real.
SMH.
Yeah.
Listeners gone speak philosophy.
I'm back. You'll do no
Yeah.
such thing on my watch.
I mean, you have wireless IEMs in, you'd still hear us, right? Or no?
Got his
Oh.
ass.
Fucking wrecked.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling with my MacBook speakers and my MacBook camera.
And your MacBook RE20.
Yeah, and your MacBook face.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any more topics? I don't know that I have. Should we do
So
spicy? Anything spicy?
Nothing really like super intentional. Have you guys been listening to anything interesting?
I don't know about interesting, but I've been listening to Catatonia's new album, and I've been listening to Pliny. Not that I wasn't familiar with Pliny.
Shit, huh?
What's that?
Cameron got you on that shit, huh?
Well, I knew about it before, but I never took it seriously because it's instrumental.
You listen to a ton of instrumental music.
That's true. I do. But I for whatever reason, it never grabbed me. But it's good. It's good. But yeah, no, Catatonia's new album's decent for people who like Catatonia.
That's metal, right?
Yeah. No, the reason I'm listening to them is because I want to go. I might in 2026 in February go see Catatonia and Opeth live in Vancouver because they're doing like a tour together, and I was like, I have not brushed up on. I'm not as familiar with them, so.
Gotcha.
I recently found an absolutely great song by an artist, and then I went to check the rest of his discography, and it's just TikTok meme songs, and I was so disappointed.
Oh,
However,
Is that the song?
huh?
Is that the song?
No, God, no. Okay,
What is it?
listen.
Is
Okay,
it the
Plead the
Half Horse, Half
Fifth
Man
by
song?
Cooper Allen is hilarious, but no, Cooper Allen sucks on purpose. No, Arabella by Nathan Evans. It's actually high key a fantastic folk song that by all appearances is original to him, and everything else he has is just like the 7,000th cover of The Wellerman.
Oh,
Got it.
did you guys like the Half Horse, Half Man song that I sent?
I don't think I listened to that. I think I could see from the thumbnail and title that
It's so good. It's so good. It
You
lives
say
in my head.
But do you really believe this?
Yes. I sing it at night in my head.
Okay,
It
hold
was
on,
something
wait.
Terrence sent to me ages ago.
I have something that I must now share to, I guess both of you will be subjected to it.
Like putting in chat?
I was
Tyler,
reminded.
the rear volume of the ear cups are obviously thicker, so the part behind the driver are much thicker.
Okay, this person is very much behind the stream.
Yes.
So they're not going to get to this part until quite later. See, deletion gets it. I'm half horse, half man. You guys, I'm telling you, it's a great song.
How about you, Griffin? Anything good of late?
Yeah. Madison Cunningham just dropped her full album yesterday, and so every time I listen to her, I feel guilty that the first thing that comes to mind is Joni Mitchell. And I feel guilty about that because as a like gifted female songwriter who also plays guitar, like everyone is going to compare her to Joni Mitchell. So I feel bad about that, but the comparison is there because it is somewhat accurate because she's extremely gifted at guitar. Her songwriting is not simple, but it comes across as very warm, inviting, very strongly American. Like whenever I listen to her music and whenever she puts something new out, I always feel like I'm experiencing the rebirth of the great American songwriter, which is not something I really feel from anyone else these days. So I'm always really grateful for her music in that respect because I don't know, there's a certain romance attached to that idea that I find appealing. And I would say of like the American songwriters, she writes the stuff that is just frankly brilliant, but very easy to listen to as well. Her stuff is kind of folk tinged alternative rock, but not like Coldplay alternative rock. Like, I don't know. She does a lot of stuff with like time signatures and weird stops, and she's very gifted at her instruments too. But yeah, she makes music that is very smart but doesn't sound very smart. So I've been listening to that since yesterday. I've been really enjoying it. Album is called Ace. And then other than that, it's mostly been that Parcels record that came out right as the AirPods Pro 3 dropped. That shit is hi-fi as fuck.
Parcels spelled how?
Parcels spelt like parcels, like
a parcel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which every record they've ever done has been incredibly like well produced, well mixed, well arranged, like funk influenced rock music. This one is no different, but I do feel like I wish I had chosen not to listen to that for so much of my early listening time with the AirPods Pro 3.
Is it called Loved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Record is called Loved. Because it made the AirPods Pro 3 sound so much better than it did with other music. So I've been listening to that a lot still. And then there's one more I've been listening to a lot, but I can't remember. Let me just open up my music app real quick.
Okay. Blaine,
last night there was a I was watching a TV show and there was this incredible cover of one of my favorite Nick Drake songs. So the song is Cello Song, and the person who covered it is The Books, which Nick Drake is a very hard artist to cover because it's very like raw, emotive performances on very simple instruments. But this was a very like modernized approach, but it hit hard. I was very impressed. So that's The Books with Jose Gonzalez covering Cello Song by Nick Drake. All right, we can move on.
Blaine, is that a Lifeform chair behind you?
Yes.
And
I found it in some garbage.
Blaine regularly goes dumpster diving and finds things like, $2,000 office chairs and leftover hatses.
I got an inversion table that was like $500 yesterday for $40.
Oh,
be upside down.
5 days. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here.
So what are you on right now?
Just a Mira. It's been like we're just getting cold enough for me to sit on leather without melting my ass.
I think that was is that my Mira formerly?
Was it black?
Yeah.
Then yes.
I like the Mira. I think of the Herman Miller chairs I've tried, that is my favorite.
I hate the stiffness at the back, but
I actually kind of like the back.
It's the one downside that it's so stiff, but it's the only one where the ergonomic molding back there actually works for me.
I agreed.
I do prefer the AA Ron, to be honest.
The AA Ron.
I dumped my AA Ron recently for like $100.
Joel, the question of how much I spent on the CNC machines is a question that may not yet be told until the end of this year.
Is it as much as you spent on couplers?
No, nominally
spend his own money on
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Yeah. But no, it's just the legal fees.
Yeah, God. Never hire amateurs, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Mark D being emblematic of the educated audiophile, saying, I'm super late. HDB 630 literally looks insane, and I feel like I'm not seeing hype anywhere. Yep.
Oh, Mr. Super's in chat. What's up, Mr. Super?
What's up,
Do you guys have any spicy takes?
Oh yeah, let me
from
go ahead
recent
and
times.
put some peppers up. Unless there's
How-
anything we want to fight about. Do you guys want to fight about anything? I have a Fight Club graphic.
Can we fight with Mr. Super about his views on the AirPods Pro 3?
What is his views?
You can. I broadly agree with him.
Oh, okay.
What are his views?
He finds
thinks
it
it's
more,
okay.
yeah, he finds it okay for a consumer product, and whereas Andrew
And he
finds-
didn't
outright.
like Linus's tantrum.
Oh, that too. I mean, yeah, I kind of see his point, but like
Linus was mad.
Linus was mad.
He was mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we don't
If I
know.
were a more loud on-camera personality, I may have been that mad.
I've said this somewhere. I think it was behind. It wasn't publicly, but the thing that bugged me about that whole media cycle was that the most like actually correct information, or like the reasons
I know
why
what you're gonna say.
people are why it's so
You
controversial.
realize you're breaking tradition on this show, right?
I know.
Tradition is we don't speak highly of
I know,
this.
but it bothers me that information was contained in a Passion for Sound video of all places, and none of the rest of us, not Kryn, not Mr. Super, not frickin' Linus, not DMS, not me, put that information in any of ours.
Yeah,
And,
I was too busy making things about the actual product, and you were too busy moving. You wanted to make that
I
video.
wanted to. I still want to.
Yeah.
It and when I saw his video, like obviously I disagree very much with his conclusion, right? Like that they throw the hands up and we don't need really to, like, measurements are not of sufficient value, and that the only utility there is if you have something to compare to. I don't really agree with that, but
I used to think he was disingenuous, but I actually think he believes that.
Yeah, but the section that he the section that he did on basic length mode resonances, and also the reference, like he made reference to a paper, like this is all good information, and what annoys me about this is because it's contained in a video from that source, it is not going to reach the people for whom that information is going to be much more relevant, right? Like there is a read of that information that is actually of great utility to people when they are considering products to buy, right? When they are actually looking at good data, right? And yeah, I just feel like they're not going to find that content, and they need to. It's the sad reality of IEMs. But instead we quibble about like, oh, is it two V-shapes? Yeah, right.
Joel coming in with the not that hot take of the mini DSP ears could have been actually good.
I mean, yeah, if it was different.
It wouldn't have had to be that different. Really,
No,
if they just skipped the IEM measurement bullshit and just given it a flush placed mic and not used those weird fake pinna on that.
Literally just a slightly different pinna and no ear canal would have been choice. But
they didn't.
They didn't do that. They didn't do the based thing, which
also Constantine would
rare mini DSPL. Wait, sorry, what'd you say?
Also, Constantine would have flamed them
for not having an ear canal,
for not having ear Z, because like you've seen it happen right. Every single time that comes up. I'm just like, I can show you that the effects of the canal impedance are not large, and he's like, yeah, but there are effects.
The Constantine interjection.
I love that boy.
I love him too. One of my favorite people in this whole community. Ice Moth says, why is full range driver bad for speakers but okay for headphones? Well, actually, full range drivers would be ideal for speakers if we could get infinite output from a tiny driver. Yeah, but we can't because of physics. With headphones, we don't have an output problem, so we can basically size a driver optimally. We also don't have the issue of directivity in functional terms, so we don't have to worry about it being too big. And so we can actually get a good result from one driver, which we cannot with speakers. All single driver speakers are bad, and they will always be bad.
Headphones good.
Oh, here we go, Mr. Super. No doubt length mode plays a part in the different interpretations of the sound, but don't know what kind of ear canal explains. They sound like Beats by Dre. By XM6 sounds flat. Okay, so like that part of it, yeah, I don't know that. I think he's just, upset that it sounded more V-shaped, right? And that XM6 thing, no, I don't get that at all. But I do think that they sound more like Beats. They sound more like power Beats than the AirPods Pro 2 did. So that's not a crazy take.
I can kind of see it if you reference everything off of the mid bass, I guess. Like maybe, or like the lower mids.
Yeah, maybe.
Like some people do, depending on what they listen to, do reference more in the sub 1K band. And there, the Sony stuff is more balanced because it's a more
warm tilt.
Yeah.
Shut up, Kyle.
Yeah. I think that's also just like, I don't know. The easier explanation there, Mr. Super, is that he just was being hyperbolic and got one of those things wrong.
Angie hyperbole. We've all been there.
Yeah. So, but to be clear, I hear it a lot closer to the way that it measures. And I think you probably hear it less like it measures. And I think Griffin also probably hears it a lot less like it measures. Because Griffin, you hear it with a peak at around 8 kilohertz. You don't have any issues with the 6 kilohertz peak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I have major issues.
I have no issues with it. I would say when I'm listening to it, I don't notice that peak.
Yeah.
Because the other peaks are so much more prominent. If I EQ those out, maybe I would hear the other thing. But
yeah, so I guess the perspective that I want to table for the AirPods Pro 3 that I didn't get a chance to is that because it is a less safe tuning and length mode issues are going to be a problem for all these devices, you're going to end up with more people for whom it is intolerable. And that is the case with me, right? And I don't know if that's exactly the case with Linus, but maybe, right? So it's not about whether I don't like V-shape and somebody else likes V-shape, right? You can have V-shape that is more palatable than what they ended up with and safer than what they ended up with. It's just the way that they did this. It's not great.
X2 Joe says Linus's rant is good because it sends a clear message to Apple not to go V. So
well, okay, yes, and how many other consumer IEMs do we have that are V-shaped?
All of them, but I actually disagree with this slightly. For one, because I don't think Apple is going to look at the take of any consumer as indicative of what they like. Most of us are not listening blind. Most of us are not listening in a controlled environment at all. And most people reporting sound quality are either unreliable or wrong. So I wouldn't think that Linus's rant on the sound quality has any bearing on Apple's thinking on it, which is why, I don't think our critique of the sound quality really matters all that much. Like, I think what's more important, and which is why we did more content about it, is the conversation about that product and other products like it having access to EQ, because it's not so much about what the product sounds like at the end of the day. It's that, can I customize it and personalize it?
It's like you're giving yourself the fastest car in the world and then taking the tires off.
With that device, that is a good analogy. Yeah. Now I do like kind of Linus's rant, and this is maybe where I agree a little bit more with the spirit of X2 Joe, is that I like negative reviews. Like, I like when people are not apologizing for not liking something and are very clear about that. And I feel like that's something that, especially in Linus's corner of like the tech audio whatever space,
I mean,
at that level of viewership and subscriber count, is not something that really exists a ton. So I'm glad
you also have to remember those platforms that they have are essentially the vibes dispensers, right? They're not meant to be. You don't need to hear Linus talk about the length mode issues, right? Even if DMS is aware of it, right? Like, you don't. That's not what people go and watch those channels for, right?
Blaine, are you okay?
Yeah. What?
It's IEM talk, so he doesn't care.
I was having a nap while you guys talked IEM.
All right, so back to the critique of the Circle of Confusion,
Well,
fourth
no.
edition.
Mark D has a interesting question. Do you look forward to hate listening to new audio products you know will likely be bad just to be angry?
I would not say I feel confident that a product will be bad in most circumstances.
Okay, but what about a situation where, okay, I'm thinking of like the new Audivina, right? Even if you hadn't seen measurements of that, right?
I mean, I guess I don't know. I wouldn't really look forward to listening to that because that's bad in a way that a whole bunch of other things have been bad before, and there's nothing really interesting to say there.
Well, right, and that's what I was going to say is that like I don't look forward to hate listening to anything. Like
Yeah.
like if
Wasting my damn time.
that's what and it's it's just I don't want to do this. That it's you got to spend time with it. You got to listen to it. You got to test. You're like this thing just sucks from head to toe. It just feels like shitty. Yeah. All right, next spice.
I'm looking.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. There were three headphones at the Hi-Fi Con that I listened to because I knew that they were almost certainly going to be wretched.
Mhm.
And they were. And there were two that I had hoped wouldn't be, but were. And there was Juan's thing, which was the least offensive thing Juan has made yet.
A new thing from Juan.
Apparently, it's the reference version of his old open thing. The new closed headphone is not bad enough to instantly be horrible to me when I was listening to it briefly. I wouldn't say I had a positive reaction to it, but I didn't have an immediately hateful reaction to it. But
no, I mean, I assume the reference version of Sierra will probably be good because he's probably just reducing the bass and treble, which are the problems with the Sierra.
Some sort of odd peak in the ear gain, if I remember correctly.
It's
I
4K.
don't know if I heard that.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But maybe it's a matter of fixing that. And
there was a dryness. I'm hoping he's addressing that, but who knows?
Heart you do not want an Audivina. That thing is just a mess of high Q features that are probably going to be unit and channel specific.
Well, Audivina is one of those headphones. It's a closed back that actually amplifies the sound around you.
There's that too.
Cup turns into a resonator.
There's a lot that's wrong with that.
Yeah, you need to get Constantine's what was that April Fool's joke he did? Padlock?
Yes. The spikes.
Yeah.
Sorry, what I was going to say though is that there were like the guy who put the piezo resonator on the cone of on the dome of his headphones. I was interested to listen to that.
So a piezo resonator on the outer cup?
No. So he's instead of a voice coil, he's using a bender that drives the dome. It's kind of fascinating.
Interesting.
It sounds really bad. I told him this and was like, yo, this thing has like a bajillion breakup modes. I think you need to really work on the dome this is attached to. And also this may be a doomed concept, but do you want some help? And now I'm talking to him via email, or at least I should be. I need to email him back. But the thing. Oh yeah. And I was actually really sad that the new K1000 is bad. Because like I want that style to be good.
Yeah. I want that style to be comfortable, which
it's a little more comfortable. The K1's a little more.
Okay.
The K1 is improved over the K1000 there. It's just that the treble is truly intolerable. And
it's a pretty different driver design, right? Like it's not.
No, they're still doing the weird square drivers.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, they're doing their best to bring it back as it was, but they really should have taken like a page out of Rawls' book and made an equalizer for it that makes it slightly less awful, much like the SR1 did.
Can't help but agree.
What is this about the Isfarna, Kyle? That isn't it the dual driver thing?
Kyle was
I
impressed
heard.
by how not terribly integrated the two drivers are in it, I believe.
I mean, it
Did
has.
you guys hear Skedra's new thing, or like the same thing? I guess just
I've still
whatever.
not heard any version of
Okay.
it.
His
I'm not
his dual driver thing?
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm not especially interested in it.
Not for a
Oh,
while
oh,
now.
because it has tons of bass. It's not for you.
I don't really have. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Also, Joel, yes. I was trying to diplomatically tell APOS that if I'm saying I can't listen to this because it has too much treble, you really need to consider again whether you want to make an equalizer to sell with it so that people will be able to use this. But they did not believe me.
Did you hear? Was there an update to the Grell phone at all?
If there was, it wasn't a hi-fi con.
Okay. I thought it was. Yeah.
Wait, am I thinking of a different one, Kyle? I remember one of the things that you listened to from Hi-Fi Man was like a dual driver thing, and you were like, "Well, that was terrible, but at least like the dynamic driver and the planar were better integrated than I expected."
That
What
sounds
am I
like an
thinking
Isvarna
of?
impression. No, that sounds like exactly like an Isvarna impression. I don't know if that would have been the exact wording, but I think both of us kind of found it less hateable than any of their other closed backs, and I think its main sin was just being like way too warm or something like that.
I might be thinking of something else. Super. I thought there was something else that was like the Grell phone that had the forward angle.
Oh,
driver.
there were several
Yeah.
eccentric things at that show. Actually, wait, Mark, did you end up getting to listen to the other HD800 ripoffs? There were like two others. There was one by ETA and there was one by I don't remember who. In addition to
The ETA one is like, it looks at least a lot different than the HD800. I don't know.
Right. When I say ripoffs, what I mean more is, and I say that with positivity, because if the hobby is going to steal design elements from something, stealing design elements from a headphone with good ergonomics is a good idea.
Yeah, the cups on that were huge.
The headband was not comfortable in the slightest for me, unfortunately. And it sounds profoundly colored.
Got it.
Oris, I think that the DT990 is excessively maligned relative to how harsh it actually is. So again, this should be your context for understanding where me saying intolerably trebly is.
Got it. Wait, Mark D, is there an MV1 hype train that I'm missing?
You are the catalyst.
Oh,
I think it's just you.
If you just look in the mirror, this is the MV1 hype train.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I want to be like, are other people liking this? And I'm like, I was listening to that like right before this stream. I've been listening to
it's what people think that you get from the DT whatever series. You know?
I kind of think it's like one of the best headphones for EQ.
Yes.
Ever, but not necessarily because it like is like the most open or like any of the other nerd shit we talk about. It's because literally the only thing you need to do to it is just go in and remove treble peaks on your head. Like otherwise, like every other part of the tonality is great, and you don't need to boost any treble anywhere. So like the weird,
I was gonna say
asymmetrical, weirdly placed dips that can happen on people's heads are less likely, at least in my experience, to happen with that headphone. So all you have to do is cut, and then like you're golden. You have like a great tone.
I would still say the better headphone where all you have to do is boost the bass or something like that, or like change something.
I don't expect an average person to find a problem-free treble response.
This is fair.
Wait, was that a Capra strap that was on the ETA headphone? Capra's probably horrified reacting there.
It's so I think ASCII designed something very similar to Capra's design for ETA.
I would say that it felt similar to Capra's, which is to say that it felt terrible to me.
Got it.
But this is a take that I know is in minority.
Yeah. Mark, that's what I assumed. Yeah. I don't think I've seen anything outside of the Discord space on it. Conductor Griffin. Spicy takes, chat. Anything?
Best
Spicy
headphones
takes?
are the ones you can get on your head. What does that mean?
The ones that fit, I guess, or the ones that you can
It's
afford.
supposed to be a spicy take. It's just like
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's definitely not a spicy take.
No.
All can jumpers should have EQ available. Fuck no. Do you know how long some people linger as it is?
and how like
And
prone
it would
to
suck
screwing
walk
things up.
It would suck if you walk up to someone's booth and there's an EQ still enabled, and
Yeah,
then
that's what I mean.
it sucks for you. Like,
Well,
the-
and God, and just the fucking keeping all the DACs happy even with no software at all, because audiophile DACs apparently just throw their fucking guts out like a fucking startled starfish if anything goes wrong.
yeah,
There's a visual.
shows are so rough, dude.
Dallas is coming up, right?
Dallas is the best show because it's the worst show.
Yeah, truly, yeah.
APP3's HDF
I
had the best with
think I'm gonna go, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to.
I
Oh,
might.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'd like to go, but
Please let me
I'm
know if you
still
do.
I'm still banned from the US.
Wait, hold
Maybe
on.
you shouldn't have smuggled so much cocaine.
Yeah, country doesn't want me. No. It would be a cruel twist of fate if I got iced and then sent to El Salvador somewhere in Latin America.
Oh, sorry. So I'm just now checking. My messages on Discord. Something that is interesting that I think, I don't know if I've talked about it with you, Blaine, but I know I talked about it with you, Andrew. Is that Kepper has that clamp measurement rig
Yeah.
that he's working on.
Super excited for that.
So the last thing I saw him post about it was that he actually got multi-zone pressure working. So like
Mhm.
there's like a top, a bottom left, and a bottom right or something like that, and you can individually measure the pressure at those 3 points, which is like crazy to me. And I don't know, I'm very excited for this product. And if any of you are reviewers out there and you want to buy this thing, I think he offers a discount of like 50% on it when it's actually out. I think a lot of people who make content should have this. I'm not sure it's going to be the most useful for like an ordinary person, but
Yeah.
I feel like
but-
if you make content, I think a lot of the content creators are probably going to be buying it and posting data from it. So
We will be.
There's
yeah.
Well, anyway, sorry, I shouldn't. I was about to say something that I think Joel would yell at me for, so never mind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the bar. Okay.
Eh. You can triangulate the center of pressure. Interesting. What's the contour of the side like? Is it head shaped or is it? What are you looking
I
at?
get that stupid meme that you sent in the content server.
Oh.
Joel, Andrew, and Griffin arguing about the circle of confusion. Me, who doesn't believe in it, chooping the fucking bong. Excuse me, bubbler. God. I will say, for all of their faults, my friends are exceptional shit posters.
Okay.
IEM suck, but if you're more consistently able to get them in your ears, then rock them. Oh, okay. So it was a fit thing then. Like it's a
rock them so you get them rocking modes. People should get one pair of headphones, learn how to EQ, and then spend their time looking for new music instead of new headphones.
Ergonomics matters.
Yeah.
Well, they should get the headphone that is comfortable and then do what Skog says. Honestly,
Ooh.
Cameron's video on Spotify lossless got way too many people unnecessarily worried about bit perfect audio. Yes, true.
Good take.
So true. God. So true.
Well, it's like a thing can be technically true and still not matter.
Yeah, sure.
You know the thing about the black plastic utensils? It's that again.
Well,
No, I do not.
Oh, there was like a whole panic during like early COVID or whatever, maybe just after COVID, where it's like some study found that they can impart small particles of some unpleasant substances into your food, but it
Mhm.
was an absolutely minute quantity, and they had also they had severely mismeasured it as well.
Swag.
Yep.
Hell
Mhm.
yeah. Same.
Yeah. But I mean, you can just use Tidal because it's cheaper.
I can't use Tidal because my freak music isn't on there.
That's fair.
Evil Milton says rolled off sub bass is equally as colored as boosted bass.
I mean, that's just objectively not true.
I deeply disagree with this take, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's just objectively not true.
I'm trying to
Like,
think of like what
Rolled off to what
why
at what frequency?
though. Well, I mean, it's like a
Like
typical, like,
like
open
completely
iPhone roll off is what's being talked about here. Yeah, I think that's just not true. Like, especially because most of like actual roll off in most headphones is happening like one in the region where like the phantom fundamental frequency phenomenon is going to like take over a little bit anyway. But two, dips are harder to hear than peaks. And three, there's so little content down there that I feel
Okay, but
like
what
it
if
becomes
you
really
are
prominent. It's very obvious, but when it's
yeah,
not there, it's like, oh, that's
but what if you're trying to solve the circle of confusion? Have you considered that? um yeah, Joel, that is the coldest take of all time. Nobody should care that Spotify added lossless.
but so many people do, which
Yeah.
is so fascinating to me. Like that's one of the highest viewed videos we've had in a really long time.
well, the thing is, if you told the average person, well, actually, no, I know this because I have to do this on an almost daily basis when I explain my job, that not only most, but almost all headphones that cost more than $200 sound terrible. They would be like, nobody thinks that. Everyone thinks that you buy an expensive headphone, you hear good sound. So then they're worried about, oh, is the software making my sound worse? Right? Is
Right.
the
Mhm,
is the
mhm.
recording quality not up to snuff? Because nobody thinks that in a sane world, what is the real problem would be the real problem.
This
Well,
is
but they
I
also
don't know
use it
that this
as a
is true, but I
like a
love X2
gatekeeping thing
Joe's.
too, right?
Sorry, what?
Oh, they also use the whole Spotify memeing thing as a gatekeeping thing, right? Like, oh, you use Spotify, you're not a real, you're not using FLAC, you're not a purist.
They're flacking off.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry, what were you saying,
I'm
Greg?
old and crusty enough to remember people being really, really sus of flack.
Sorry. Spotify lossless is asbestos free cereal.
It's a good take.
Where's the lie?
Yeah.
I was just laughing at X2 Joe saying more people care about lossless than AirPods Pro 3, which I think
Yeah.
is like categorically
Well,
untrue, probably, but
they
like
care what we have to say about lossless more than they care about what we have to say about AirPods Pro 3.
I mean, I think actually that's an interesting question. Do you think
I think objectively
Spotify
that's
has a
true.
bigger audience than AirPods Pro 3 buyers? I think probably, yeah. Right, like Spotify is like gigantic. Like
Yeah.
everyone and their mom uses Spotify.
Even if you're like not an Apple person, right? You still care about things like Spotify, right? Yeah, as a you're in the category of music
Yeah, so
listener.
maybe more people do care about Spotify than oh well, they said lossless. I don't know
Well,
about that.
but you have to also remember, like, there's a lot of people who won't even consider the AirPods Pro 2, regardless of how it sounds, because it is from the other side. They think I can't possibly sound as good as my Tozo whatever thing from Amazon that has 5 out of 5 stars, because it's from that other side. It's from the walled
Yeah.
garden.
I just love Heartyou's question of how come EQ doesn't seem to do anything to my free airline IEMs? A 10 decibel bass shelf doesn't do anything to the FR.
So
Check
the
this.
answer there is linearity, which is a
Yeah.
concept that Constantine will for some reason explain to you with a characteristic curve. But the core mechanism of distortion is that something doesn't keep going as far as the input signal says it should. When that gets real bad, it just stops. And you sort of just get more and more square waves as you go further into driving it instead of actually getting more output.
Night Rice says
You're-
Cameron needs to do more videos explaining how to properly interpret amp and DAC measurements.
Okay, here. This is one from Mr. Super. Wow, that was a contagious yawn that went through that went through the
Was that one?
internet. No, I did, and then Blaine did. Mr. Supers raises one. Your gear is just not resolving enough to hear a difference between Spotify and Tidal. Now, I think he's memeing.
Yeah,
I
obviously
think,
he's memeing. He's
but people think that.
people in his own comment section.
Yeah, yeah. This is not an uncommon perspective.
Yeah.
Audiophiles shouldn't learn about the science-related stuff. It takes away the joy.
Honestly, Arga, you're not wrong, bud.
But
And
my
and
joy
I saw
is
your
taking
posts.
away the joy.
I
I
saw your
don't
posts in our server talking
agree.
about it, and like, there's an extent to which, yeah, I absolutely agree. Both with that take and kind of how you qualified it by saying like you would have enjoyed the Ryle Amanis before you got into all of this science bullshit stuff. And I don't think either of us knows that that's true, but I kind of understand the sentiment. Like in my first listening experiences with audiophile headphones, what was going on in my brain was completely different and way more easily impressed and engaged than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all
Yeah,
Blaine's fault.
it is all Blaine's fault. That's well, but it's
so
like what Blaine has talked about before, where it's like we're all sort of in our own little sub hobbies of this hobby, right? And the science stuff is one of them.
cuts off Blaine to quote Blaine based.
Yeah. Have to.
So what I was going to say though is I really don't agree. I really don't agree with the idea that the science should make things less fun. Like there's a
Well, they
massive
say it
amount
should.
of
I don't think they say it should.
Well, no, but I mean, I think that it's no, I don't mean should in the sense of morally. I mean in terms of a probable outcome. Because like the amount of weird, I mean, we've all seen Jason Stoddard talking about audio nervosa or whatever, right? That shit is less all over now than it used to be. But for a long time, there was basically, I mean, and you still see this whenever someone's like, I don't like this headphone. People are like, oh, what's your source gear? I bet you just have trash. People take that less seriously now than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They used to take that a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I mean, like the whole thing behind the O2, right, was something that people wouldn't have to worry about messing up sound. Something that was good enough to not worry about it anymore. And I think that I feel like the audio science stuff, as it's become associated with the ASR Synad jerk, has really lost touch with that.
I don't know. So like I think you're right about the probabilistic element of this, right? Like it should actually lead to people having more fun with their stuff, with it, or like more good experiences with their music and less moving of the goalposts and cope. But I think it has, like when we talk about like the way that that kind of statement is meant, it's to do with the online discourse where people want to be engaging in the mythology of their of their purchases more than the goodness and badness of their musical experiences with these.
Yeah, it takes away from the ability to participate in that as easily.
Exactly.
And it takes away the ability to like find the products enjoyable as easily.
Yeah.
Which
and like I was talking to somebody else on our team about speakers. It's like in the speaker world, it actually kind of makes more sense even to enjoy the mythologies around these products because they are furniture, right? Like headphones are personal devices too, but I feel like there's more of that even with speakers because they're like a thing that exists in your space and you just see it at all times, in that space. So it's like it probably matters more there. And for people to enjoy the way something looks, purely just the way something looks, yeah, I don't know. I can see it more in that world.
Super saying that he disagrees the Nervosa is less common, just that it's more about firmware updates. Very clearly speaking to the current moment of uncertainty around the AirPods Pro 3. But actually, no, I do think hearing what Blaine said kind of made me realize that the audio science kind of lessens the emotional dynamic range overall, because like
Yeah.
I think a lot of what would have been unexplained disagreement and negativity towards one another has been replaced by, maybe overconfidence, but a more, I think, complete understanding of why we're going to disagree sometimes.
Well, that's
Because
not the way the conversations usually go for me, though.
well,
It
yeah,
usually goes with
because what
you've
you're
seen them.
talking about is like YouTube comments,
Not
because
even that. Like I'm talking about like on places like Reddit or Discord or
Yes, but what
forums.
about comments from humans?
yeah.
But like that assumes that we go outside. What the fuck, man?
Well, look, here's what I'll say. Like, I feel like you, for some fucking reason, only seem to socially interact in the places where people are like least likely to understand any of this shit. So you don't.
Because
I don't think you really get to see most of like
yeah, because I'm trying
the
to
fruits of your labor helping people understand this shit.
yeah.
Because like,
I want people to understand that you don't need to assume that magic is real. You can just
yeah,
there are
there are
there
spaces
are
where like most of the people are not doing that. So
what's
like,
that?
there are spaces where like most of the people are not doing that. Like
I
our
know, but it's a little bit
spaces
like
where most of
I
the
see
people
it like this. I could be wrong about this, but my sense of it is that like there is this ivory tower element to the more sensible discourse on this topic, where it's become so unapproachable that people are just happy to exist in their mythology, and it's like it's the places where there is the most criticism of the kind of content that we put out into the world, right? Because what a lot of people want is
Affirmation.
celebration, yeah, affirmation, celebration of whatever else it is, right? And if we don't give them that, they're like, well, this is not, I don't want to engage with this. And the thing is, we want to help people, and then so it's like, well, you got to go into some of those trenches and start trying to help people understand that there is an acoustic cause for their experiences and that you can draw a straight line there. It's just that it needs to be more sufficiently understood.
I think that we now have sufficient data to figure out, of the three of us, the hierarchy of likelihood to be killed by an arrow from the North Sentinelese uncontacted tribe.
Oh yeah, Andrew is number one.
Yeah.
Why?
You're putting yourselves in these situations where you're only going to get paid.
Yeah. Or getting detained.
And I do that too. I would be the second most likely. But it would be because I would stay on the boat, but I would try to show them Costco hot dogs, but they would get angry.
The other thing is, like, I don't really have that much interesting to say to Constantine that he doesn't already know.
I mean, you could be like, hi.
Yeah,
yeah. I spoke to him today, actually.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I get the impulse because I share the impulse to educate and go into these spaces and try to help people. But I feel like you're missing the actual fun of the hobby.
I know what you mean. But okay, our conversation with Charles Sprinkle was also very like illuminating and revealing to me. Like, despite all the additional sort of progress and change that's happened in the understanding of the science, or even the conjecture about the science, because it's not necessarily all been demonstrated, but like, let's say things like understanding HRTF stuff, right? Like even the HRTF based Harman type stuff, right? On what he's talking about is like very much just strictly to do with the canonical stuff, right? So when you step out of these discourse, when you step out of these Discord communities and some of these places where people like you and Blaine and Constantine,
when you touch grass,
there's still very much this overbearing acceptance of the audio science canon, right? That I would have thought that things would have sort of progressed from, but no.
Why?
Because it's made public by. It just feels like, I guess that's where most of the noise is being made, with to do with the subject matter, right?
Yeah,
like,
but we're noised by mosquitoes, man. We're tiny.
That's fair, I guess.
Especially because, like, in the example of Charles, like, he's just putting out banger after banger. Like he doesn't need to criticize the research when like
No,
he's
but
one as
he is doing. That's what I'm saying.
products, and
Yes,
two, his products are doing well.
yes. Though even he has admitted that the headphones are insane. Yeah.
But I think Joel said it nicely here. Is that he thinks science makes the hobby less fun because the audio hobby doesn't fit into our aspirational consumeristic ways of thinking about the world. The
Yes.
expensive stuff is worse.
Yes. 100.
So-
Well, and also it's not just like a linear trajectory with like newer thing, it isn't necessarily better.
Have you guys found that has actually made you suspicious of other product markets whenever like
It depends what it is.
like
for
it
me.
has affected my consumer habits enough that I'm always looking for the HD 600 of whatever thing I'm trying to buy instead of
It depends what it is. It really
assuming
does.
quality is going to be linearly correlated to price.
So something I want to add as a refinement to Joel's thing, which also may serve to answer your question, is that I think that audio has a kind of headphones, speakers less so, but headphones kind of has this weird thing where, in addition to sound quality being uncorrelated with, or in some cases at some thresholds even inversely correlated with price, we also have this thing where, because a lot of the old high-end brands died or didn't move up to the new upmarket, the only people in a lot of those spaces are functionally amateurs. And I say that as someone who's been there, obviously, but like there is more engineering experience at Grell Audio probably than there are at 3 or 4 companies together that sell $2,000 plus headphones. And Grell has, as far as I'm aware, Axel, and I think that's it. You're almost not an engineer.
You're almost got, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that he has engineering experience, but I wouldn't say. I know. Anyway, this gets us into a different
project manager, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a different question. But what I mean though is like a lot of companies sell themselves on this whole, look past the warts, look past the weirdness of the fit and the creak and the whatever, because it sounds better than anything else you can get. So they're basically saying this is a bespoke product, and the bespoke super high quality element is the sound, which is true in a lot of fields, right? Like there are things where you can get Jesus Christ. It's actually kind of rarer, the areas where you can get something that looks like and is normal that actually does perform maximally well. Like think about what performance cars end up turning into.
Hey, Toyota Corolla, man.
No, but you see what I mean. But in audio, this weird subversion exists where people think that dynamic is in play, but instead it's just that they're bad.
Joel says exactly what I'm thinking. I only shop for CPUs designed in the 90s.
Joel,
600 of CPUs.
The worst part is that not only like it's true at so many levels. Like watches, say what you will about the madness of Patek Philippe and Rolex and all the other Swiss stuff. They do put a lot of effort into making them well, which they damn well better, given that they're charging the price of a car or a house for a watch. But then in audio, we run into a lot of firms who aren't.
Well, but okay. The thing is, though, in audio, there are also products that, like, it's not that all products that get released that are more expensive are worse, right? It's that there's a trend, right? Or like you could predict, maybe you could have an expectation, but then you have in whatever circumstance you have something that comes out that's actually like a banger, and it happens to be in the high end,
Kyle saying Rolex finishing is pretty bad. That's interesting given what I've heard about their QC process. Can you say more? Anyway, sorry, I'm intrigued by that.
No, I'm just thinking where it's more about like if you try and take a zoomed out look at it, where your confidence lies for something being competitive, and that's where things definitely go in the inverse direction, where you from what you would expect compared to other industries, right? So for me, it's like if I'm I'm trying to think of a product category where I would have that same kind of like suspicion of, or basically where I'd have suspicion of what my confidence should be based on, you know, spending more. And it's actually difficult for me to think about what that actually is. Do you have one that comes to mind, Griffin?
Sorry, of what exactly?
Of like product categories that you're suspicious of?
I don't know. It's kind of whenever I need to buy anything these days. Like I had to buy the audio interface / handheld recorder I'm buying now. And instead of, you know, because it was on the company's dime, I could have spent more. Instead of doing that, I went for the thing that was from a brand I trusted and wasn't crazy expensive, but had all the features I needed.
What was
Because
it?
I assumed it wouldn't get better than that. It's a Zoom.
Oh, it's the cheaper Zoom.
It's the Zoom H1 XLR. So it doesn't have any mics on it, but it has a mic input, and
Yeah.
you can put an SD card on it.
Yeah. Yep.
So not spending unnecessarily, getting
Yeah.
all the functionality I need,
Yeah.
and getting it from a company that I know makes good shit, because I have experience with their other shit. I feel like that's kind of the calculus that goes into buying like an HD 600 if you're a normal consumer. Well, I say normal,
Okay,
but
so Kyle said they have Rahau alignment issues still, and I've looked this up, and if any audio company ever came close to being as good as the ones people are talking about sending back, we would consider it the best built thing that was ever made in audio. Hold on, I will post this to the chat, and you can see why I'm. This isn't to say that I wouldn't expect better on a super expensive watch, because what else is there? However,
Mr. Super says coffee and wine. I think those are the examples that come to mind for me.
I literally can't see the issue. Anyway, Oris said, "There's as much snake oily stuff in audio production.
I see the issue.
Preamp.
Sorry, I'd send this back.
No, there's more snake oily stuff in audio production. There's nobody who's selling upgrades to fucking.
I disagree.
In audio. All right, what's the Black Lion equivalent of headphone audio?
I mean, it's the same thing. It's amplifiers and converters.
But that's not all Black Lion does. You can send them your converter and they will put their stuff in it and send it back to you for a massive fee.
Is that something a lot of people do?
I don't know if it's something a lot of people do. That's definitely something people do. I see used Black Lion audio modified whatevers.
But like we have people in this space who send their headphone to a guy to measure on his own head, make an EQ, and then send that back to you.
Whomst?
Accurate Audio.
Oh, right. I keep forgetting he's still alive.
But like, I don't know. So I would say in terms of degree, they're probably similar in terms of like where the outer bounds are. But I think on average, the average, like what would be equivalent to outboard gear or like external device other than the headphone purchase or other than the mic purchase, let's say, in pro audio, in the audio space, the differences are like not audible compared to the like pro audio sphere. Like regardless of if they're good or not, a lot of the weird boxes that you see sold in the pro audio space make a difference that is like night and day audible. It's just, it's not always better.
Except the Black Lion stuff.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great example actually of not that, of just snake oil. But like, yeah, you talk about like weird EQs or like weird converters that people are buying to like clip them because their saturation from the clipping is something they find desirable. Like these are mythological crazy people purchases, but they actually do make a difference. And like mics are completely incomparable in my opinion, because a mic is very clearly like just an FR filter. Like that's something and a directivity, like that, you know, that is very
effect. There's a lot of things that make mics distinctive.
Yeah, no, their max SPL handling, their actual ergonomic and placement scheme. There's a whole bunch that is there, and I feel like when it comes to audiophile, it's basically just the headphone, and then everything else is kind of bullshit.
I mean, we could have effects processors here too. Like we do to some extent. They are sold, a few of them. I don't know.
Yeah. I see a lot of people trying to simulate tubes with VST plugins these days. And
do you think people would buy an amp with that function?
Well,
I mean,
should buy a
people
tube
do.
amp with that function.
No, people. I mean, there are brands that sell like a tube mode. Like I'm sure iFi has some shit like that, where it's not actually tubes, but it simulates tubes. I don't know if it's a concrete like a top selling feature of those devices though. Like I think the reason someone would do that is so they don't have to spend, money to do it, because you can get free tube like preamp or distortion VSTs anywhere. So, and they're usually not doing what a tube amp is doing, because a tube amp, I mean, at least from what I've seen, no one has shown me a measure of like tube amp distortion or whatever that explains what people are hearing. So like it really just seems like they're altering FR, which like, you could
Certainly,
do that.
you could expect them to that like I. There were some situations where I found that the FR was not changed, but there was definitely differences in distortion.
Yeah, I mean that can definitely happen, but like
distortion is a hell of a thing, man.
Not
like
what's happening with like a typical distortion VST, because usually they're very intentionally wanting the effect to be clearly audible, because you need to tweak it to hear the ideal like profile of distortion. So it's not this extremely subtle, missable potentially thing. It's usually much more obvious and much less about preserving the fidelity of the entire audio band, and instead about having a characteristic sound.
A character that is like what people report potentially when they are using tubes. Just opens the door to all kinds of struggle.
Yeah.
I forgot how we got into this topic. Is there anything else that you guys want to get off your chest? You want to admit to the world while we have gone over time? Because I think we do need to end.
What do you mean need to end?
Because we're an effort to keep this under 2 hours, and we're at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Why? This is the secondary.
It has been mandated.
Why? This is the secondary channel, like where all of the people who are watching it who are people who want to watch it.
This is true. I'll talk to you afterwards about that.
All right.
Joel, no, if we're getting to Joel HD800 ergonomics takes, I think that's time for us to shut it down. Just shut it down.
Yeah. Hey, we have on stream more. No, wait, hold on. I was gonna say we have more evidence on stream of the HD800 being well built than any other headphone, because it's the only one that's been thrown over the shoulder.
I'm not doing it again. There's a wall right there, and I don't want to damage my wall.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the HD800 is comfy, especially the top of head comfort. I think it's really good.
Why would you specify that? I feel like it's like fine.
Because that's the thing that people don't like about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the pointy heads don't like that.
Yeah. Cone heads among us. Blaine and I are more. Well, I think it's just large heads.
We're just strong supporters of Parliament, and also believe that the Irish should be removed from Ireland. What? Not a fan of that Cromwellian reference?
I get it.
I think what I'm more a fan of is that the fact it's like I don't even know if you're memeing or not when you say shit like that.
I didn't know you were a monarchist.
I'm not. I didn't say
that. Yeah, I mean, neither was Cromwell. That was the whole thing.
Of course, Griffin is he's a parliamentarian.
Oh, is that a Trudeau joke?
Yeah.
He's no longer a member of government.
This is true. This is true. How does it feel?
Pandemonium says the HD800 touches weird parts of my face, and I don't like that.
I could see that.
What parts of your face are weird?
Like your cheeks. Like if it goes
Mark?
too far forward on like.
So wait, are they doing it like that?
Okay, that blows my mind. Go back to your normal positioning for the HD800 for a second. Whoa. So I wear mine all the way forward, like as forward.
Yeah,
as
that explains why you don't find them that comfortable.
The HD800 I find very yeah,
No, then
just
never
not
mind.
on the top of my head. Yeah.
Eh.
Where
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
Ooh,
would say
this is
I
a
don't
good
wear
take
them
here.
all the way back, but I wear them back.
This is a good take. I think it would be great for the growth of the channel if you would throw every reviewed headphone over the shoulder.
So I this is an unironic take. I think that
Most of them would break.
well, they would. No, but I think that's something kind of like jerry rig everything's shit, but for headphones. Obviously, the expense is significant.
Yeah.
But one, I think that it would
HUD
be.
should do it.
I don't know if HUD wants to just destroy headphones.
I wouldn't say he's destroying them. He's more so just breaking them down.
Well, well, with jerry rig, he will literally like jerry rig everything guy whose name isn't Jerry for some reason will like bend a phone until it goes. You know, seen that?
I've seen it. Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
very
cut-
uncomfortable to
I've
watch.
seen him cut a phone, like with some sort of.
Oh yeah, no, he does scratch tests with hardness indicators.
Yeah.
So like he
Oh, no,
cuts
I
into
have
the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones that I've always thought were funny, where it's like he'll do that and he'll completely cut up the phone, but it's
Oh
like
no.
this is still better than like all these other ones that are so much worse.
Blaine as an external destruction consultant.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Both physically and emotionally. No, the 5128 does not pick up bone conduction.
Well, it depends what they mean by bone conduction, because
And by
Real
pick it
bone
up.
conduction?
well, there are some bone conduction drivers which are just fucking rattles that still produce like SPL through air. So, it's going to pick up the contribution of those.
Yeah. All right. It is time to end. We should leave. We have plumbed the depths of things to talk about.
But if we end, I have to go back to doing actual work.
Yeah. You don't have to. It's Saturday. It's Canadian Thanksgiving.
That's true.
Tomorrow?
I was just like already working on something, so I'm probably just going to go back to doing that. But
Yeah, no, relatable.
yeah.
I'm gonna go back to lazing the fuck around.
Nice.
Good shit.
Oh, yeah, that's important. I was going to say it came to me the other industry that I'm suspicious of. Looking at Blaine's office chair in the background there, and it's office chairs. I am suspicious of that industry.
You should be.
Yeah,
I feel like that's one that does kind of mirror headphones.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Right down to there's some really expensive companies selling stuff that's OEM'd for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. On that note, it is time to end. Once again, thanks to headphones.com for making these streams possible. You can buy headphones there. You can have long return policies, I think 365 days. We have lots of articles by folks like Griffin. Blaine, do you have articles there? Maybe.
On
No.
headphones.com.
Well, I
Well,
have one or two.
The one.
Okay,
It's the Signed one, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that
I
one.
mean, Blaine's also helped with my articles in the past. So.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the articles there by us, and good information on understanding things like acoustic impedance, and all the audience retention just got obliterated.
It's hour 3 of a live stream on the off
that is the
channel.
joke, Blaine. And yeah, our forum is forum.headphones.com. Our Discord, I don't know if it's linked below, but we have a Discord/headphones, Discord GG/headphones, I think. And socials. Do you guys have socials? We're on Twitter and Blue Sky to follow Sean Olive. Everybody should follow Sean Olive.
Can I just say, I've
should
been
follow
getting like
Sean
a gazillion fucking Instagram requests on my personal Instagram account, and like, I don't
Yeah,
know
I've
if
been
you're
sending
just
everybody your Instagram info.
suggesting me to people, but like, I just want to be clear. I'm not going to be accepting most of y'all's Instagram requests because I
I
don't know.
don't have an Instagram, so
I also don't have an Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm still not
Oh,
entirely sure what Instagram is.
It's pictures and some video, and it's where
one last thing.
we'll post about that.
Huge congrats to Mr. Super for reaching 100,000 subs. I
Oh, yeah.
tried to blast this on social media, but then he didn't have one, so I was like, what do I do? So yeah, huge congrats. If you haven't subscribed to Mr. Super yet, do so. It's great content.
And pour one out for apparently the subverted mattress review industry, which Joel is trying to educate the sheeple about.
I just bought a mattress, and it is maybe not the right thing.
I mean, that's what happens. That's
coils.
what Big Mattress wanted.
Yeah, but they're always on sale, right? Like it's always like they give you like the MSRP or whatever that they say it's like $2,000, and here you get it for 500. It's like, okay, I believe you.
You should know better. You've experienced Hi-Fi Man's business model. You know.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, I guess I'm stopping the stream now, huh?